I'm sorry. I needed to reuse it because I was running short on time. But you know what? That still applies here because fuck anyone but you.
Good old
It still
Leland.
applies. You know what? I'm saying this right now. I don't know if Jared knows about my feelings.
I thought you were gonna do something involving a certain news involving Sydney Sweeney.
Well, I didn't hear about this news, but you know what? I have heard something else about her. But let's go to the news that I'm actually, here first. First of all, Fox did the right thing. I mean, Fox is usually pretty good about, their management style recently, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I don't have to worry about it. Everyone's fought at 2. I'm like, because we thought she was going to make a cameo or whatever. I'm like, thank God. Thank you, Disney. Thank you, Josh, the new CEO, and, all this other stuff. Okay, let's talk about the other thing involving her, which is the fucking shit I saw about that show and the latest episode, which apparently was even worse than the first one. In one scene, because in this season her character is an OnlyFans fucking account, and at one point in the episode, allegedly, she is dressing up like a literal baby, and she has a diaper on, and Sam Levinson, this is not making me think about Tommy Pickles.
I mean, if you're into that stuff, no kink shaming.
No. Sam Levinson, you're a sick fuck. And I would have felt bad if she was not a terrible person, but she is a terrible person. You know what? Fuck you too, Sydney Sweeney. Fuck you too. Fuck you, Sam. Fuck her. And there's like a scene involving. Guess what? You know how I said, Chayton said last week about there was a scene where a dog eats shit off of somebody's leg. In this episode, apparently, a pig shits all over somebody's living room. This is what we're HBO quality television being degraded to Sydney Sweeney cosplaying as a fucking baby and a pig shitting all over a living room. And to think David Ellison wants to buy fucking Warner. I can't with these fucking people. I can't. Fucking asshole Sam Levinson thinking he can get away with all this bullshit. The only consolation is that people are starting to not give a shit anymore about this show, and I've heard nothing but negative things. Even my sister, who usually was a fan of the show since virtually day one, which I'll never fucking understand, she forgot that the show was even on Sunday night. She forgot. She fucking forgot. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about how the show stands today?
Oh, man.
Look, I think I've made a similar. We were talking about this with the Anyone But You episode about how, everybody else in that, well, not everybody else, but a lot of the other people in that cast, they just, they're growing bigger ever since the 5-year hiatus, I suppose. And they've, Zendaya, big movie star, Jacob Elordi, he's getting there, although he has to be careful now because Wuthering Heights, it made money, but nobody liked it. I wonder if that new Ridley Scott movie is gonna do him any better. I haven't seen the trailer for that yet. But I'm gonna reiterate what Jared might have said. I'm gonna steal your joke. I'm gonna steal your thunder and say I think Sydney Sweeney's ties to Euphoria this is the reason why she can't get any, and her acting ability, obviously, but her ties and her character especially, because I've heard so many people say her character on that show is basically her in real life. Just a bitch, bimbo.
Well,
I don't.
It's weird. So it's kind of crazy. Again, I have not watched Euphoria, but
Good, don't. You better not. Will you? Okay, we'll get to maybe what we're
I
thinking
will
about
eventually.
anyway.
But like, so what's her face? I can't remember her last name, but Barbie
Ferreira, who was in Faces of Death.
So she, she kind of left Euphoria and everything because with season 2 in particular, she felt like there was just nothing to do with that character anymore.
I also heard she's very difficult to work with, so basically take that with a grain of salt. You know,
and so there was that, and she felt like there was nothing really left for her. And then Sydney Sweeney, like, Barbie felt that like her character had grown past what Sam Levinson was saying that her character needed to go through. Like, I think with season 2 that she basically goes through the exact same arc the first season, maybe, and just kind of doesn't change or whatever. And that is happening with Sydney Sweeney, where it's like, instead of having the character change and grow, she's just becoming worse. And it's because there's an interview, I think, that came out where Sydney Sweeney literally was like, he needs to go crazy in season 3. And Sam Levinson was like, well, I'll give you what you want.
For my Jesus Christ, help me. Yeah, I hope this show is dead by the end of the year. Needless to say,
and my interest of the show basically, went like this.
That was nothing. That was absolutely nothing. Granted,
maybe that's the point.
Maybe that's the point. I was thinking. Maybe that's the point. Anyway, before I move on to the box office, I want to say something else about hey Chayton, I wish you were here tonight. I really wish you was, because what we kind of expected to happen did happen. Michael got slammed by fucking critics.
Holy crap.
Slammed. It got fucking beat.
I was
beat
like
Joe Jackson. I'm sorry.
I was not expecting. I was genuinely expecting somewhere around like 50.
That's what I was going to. My initial, mid 50s, maybe late or early 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no. I think at the moment, let's have a look. I'm going to have Ron to 31. 31% rating. Jesus Christ. And it pretty much proves to me, I think in my view, with everything I've heard about it, there is no Michael Part 2. This is it. This is the only one we're getting, because the estate or whatever the fuck, the Finding Neverland bullshit, now it's pretty much what we expected it to be. Bohemian Rhapsody Mark II. Sorry, Tanner. I know you like Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think we're discussing a sequel if this one does well at the box office.
Honestly, just don't do it. It's too much.
I'm just... So, like, there's been a lot of, like, discourse recently from people that also that have not even seen the movie, too. But, like, being like, oh, look, Hollywood gave, Finding the Finding Neverland documentary.
Oh, yeah, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Like, great reviews, but they're bombarding reviews here and everything.
Oh,
and
this is woke. This just reminds me of, I'm sorry, this is woke.
Well, okay, here's what
Here's like, can the whole woke bullshit just die already?
Thank you very much, anyway.
I think that... And musical biopics have been having this problem for a while, especially the big tentpole ones, where it is like just a highlight reel of their life. Like, here's the costumes they wore, here's the music videos that they were in, here's the songs and from what I've heard, that's kind of mostly what this one is. And now, I love the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie, and I think that movie does fall in line with those similar with like the trappings that a lot of these biopics fall into. However, again, I can't fully say this because I haven't seen Michael, but I think I've even mentioned this before, maybe, but Baz Luhrmann has a particular style that's just like makes that Elvis movie pizzazzy. Like it's like you see that movie
he's
and
a
it's like,
very
oh,
in
that
your
is
face.
a Baz Luhrmann like Elvis movie.
He is very in your
Antoine
face.
Fuqua, I've not really experienced a lot of Antoine Fuqua movies.
Training Day, fantastic movie.
But like at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if he's a director with a very like distinct voice. I feel like
I think he does. I
You
think he does. The
think so?
problem with him, I think he does have a style. It's just, he's very, remember, just like Michael Bay before him, he was a music video director. So I do think he does have a visual style. The problem is that this is his first, well, I guess he's done dramas before, but he's known for action movies. Training Day's an action movie. The Equalizer movies are action movies. Shooter, that's an action movie that he directed.
Then again, Bryan Singer was an action director, and he made Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think here lies the problem with this movie too. Is it had to be approved by the Michael Jackson estate, and so it's like from what I've heard is like it shows all the dazzle of his life, and it touches on stuff like with his dad, especially from what I've heard, but it's like there's other things that happened in that era where it's just like they do not make Michael a very complex character, let's say, even though he was. And then also think about this, it's like they had to restructure the entire third act, and what they do, they cut out the controversial stuff.
Yeah, so it's just, oh great, yeah, it's just, I think it was kind of doomed from the very start. I'm going to be frank with you. It was, I think I might have said this before, but I felt it was doomed from the very start because of how much, this is why I don't understand why people bitch about the Springsteen Deliver Me to Nowhere movie, because at least they did something fucking different and it felt like an actual movie.
There is that music biopic that I've heard is like really good, and it's like it's one of those where I'm like, it doesn't just show the entire life and everything. It's like here are two distinct moments that they feel like sum up who this person is and define that person, and it's that Beach Boys movie with Paul Dano and
Love and Mercy.
John Cusack.
It's Love and Mercy. That's what the movie's called.
Yeah. Love and Mercy. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe. But at the same time, it's hard not to make a movie that just pulls at your nostalgia strings and everything.
That's what they all fucking do.
You gotta keep in mind that this movie takes place before the allegations, from my hearing.
Yes, because it ends right around bad.
And
that's where it ends. That's where its prime kind of ended, really.
All right, this kind of reminds me of the recent.
Maybe Free Willy, but that's besides the point. I don't think they mentioned Free Willy.
By the way, all this reminds me of the recent King David movie, the animated one. I haven't seen it,
Oh,
but
the Angel Studios
I
fucking
hear it
movie.
just stops right as he becomes king, so it doesn't show like his
Yeah.
controversy like with Bathsheba and stuff. So if that movie can stop in the middle of his story and be good, and how is it that the point is how is it that that movie portrays only half of his story and be successful, and yet this one covers only half of Michael Jackson's story and be panned?
They probably got bought because Angel Studios is just a. I'm sorry, I was gonna make a joke and I don't even know what I'm gonna say. They're complicated. I don't like them very much. Besides the point, they probably used the pay forward campaign to pay those damn critics.
I think ultimately, like from what I'm seeing and stuff, it isn't just that because it doesn't cover any of the controversial stuff. I think it's just mostly comes down to it's bland.
And also, it's from the. By the way, you know who edited this fucking movie? John Ottman. You know what else he edited? Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh God! Quick cut! The most cuts. I bet you 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be more cuts than Bohemian Rhapsody ever did.
I did see a clip of this movie of him dancing to Billie Jean, and guess what? It was all a bit shaky.
No, you're shaky, so it keeps cutting, or is just completely just shaking the camera, just like they do in Alexander. Let's not get to the point right now. With that being said, I still think it's gonna make money. I still think it's gonna make money.
Yeah, because Michael Jackson's ultra popular. He's arguably the most popular musician of all time.
Yeah, like I said to you before, I don't think they're going to make that second movie. I don't think they're going to make that second movie.
Let's see how the Beale Cinematic Universe does in a couple of years.
So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. I went on for far too long. Thanks a lot, Sydney Sweetie. But let's go to the box office. This is the last week before Michael comes out, so it's a pretty quiet week. Super Mario still did pretty well, 36.5 million. Again, making more to the dismay of Soren. I still haven't seen it, and something tells me I'm not gonna like it.
It makes the first one look like Spirited Away.
Something tells me I'm not gonna like it, especially considering.
I think for me, Galaxy is.
And you know what?
I think of this movie. The first one, but just as fun as the first one.
Speaking of galaxies, Project Hail Mary is still hanging on there, 20 million, and I think it's made over like $285 million domestically, so that's doing pretty well. Number 3 from New Line, the biggest new release of the week, Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I don't know how much the budget is, but I'm assuming it made money because it's a Blumhouse movie.
Just lucky Chayton isn't here, because otherwise he'd do the whole forever thing.
Thank you. Number 5, the drama. No, that's number 4. Number 5 is You, Me, and Tuscany, barely just hanging on. Number 6 is Hoppers. Number 7 is a movie called Normal, with Bob Odenkirk. This is the largest release for a Magnolia Pictures movie. Magnolia is not known for putting out movies wide, and now this is the first time they want to fucking put out wide. It fucking took you forever. And number 8, another wide release. Another BTS concert, but this time it's in Japan rather than Goyang. I think it was last week. Are they literally gonna put every single spot on their world tour and put it in the fucking theater so it'll be in the top 10 for like God knows how many weeks straight? I don't know. It made less than the first one did though. Number 9 was a movie that I didn't even hear about until about Friday night. It was a movie called Busboys. It's an independent movie that stars podcaster Theo Von, who's part of the fucking Joe Rogan Manosphere bullshit. I'm like, oh, God help me. And David Spade, who hasn't been relevant in 20 fucking years. And, it sounds bad. It didn't do that well, though. 1.6 million. And then number 10 is another Bollywood movie called Boot. Bangla, it didn't even make $1 million. It made $950,000. $950,000. So I don't know. It's a very small
Anyway,
league.
she didn't like Alexander. So that makes the three of us, Victor.
No comment. Soren, I'm gonna allow you to go first.
All right, fixing the best original score and original song categories of the 2010s. 2010 score, we have 127 Hours, How to Train Your Dragon, Inception, The King's Speech, and The Social Network, and I'd replace The King's Speech with True Grit.
Who the fuck remembers the score for the King's Speech? Who does?
I don't know, but I'm glad that what's it called? 120.
Yeah, I'm glad that's there.
Yeah, I'm glad that's there because that music's so freaking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when he's like about to he thinks he's about
at
to
the
die.
very end, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
2010 original song, we have Coming Home from Country Strong, If I Rise from
Country Strong with Gwyneth Paltrow.
I forgot that movie existed.
No.
If I Rise from 127 Hours, I See the Light from
Tangled. Deserved it.
I See the Light from Tangled, We Belong Together from Toy Story 3, and I'd fill the last spot with There's a Place for Us from Voice of the Dawn Treader.
No, I replace it with the other song from Tangled, the one at the very end. That's not part of the Alan Menken. Alan Menken didn't write that one. What the fuck is it called? The song at the end credits. What the fuck? The fucking song from Tangled, the end credits. I can't remember, but that's good. Because I know Alan Menken didn't write that fucking song. I know that for sure. It's a pop song.
Something That I Want?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, 2011 original score, Adventures of Tintin, The Artist, Hugo, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and Warhorse, and I replaced Tinker Tailor with Drive.
Actually, you know what I replaced it with? Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's predictable, but yes, I would.
2011 original song, which inexplicably got 2 nominations.
Only 2! That's it!
Man of Muppet from the Muppets and Real in Rio from Rio. And I'd replace Rio from Star Spangled Man from Captain America, and I'd fill the last spots with Life's a Happy Song and Pictures in My Head from the Muppets, and 1,000 Years from Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Why that song? That song's annoying, and especially with Twilight. I get it because people associate that song with Twilight, but I'm not a big Bruno Mars guy. But the Bruno Mars song in that movie is probably better than that fucking song.
2012 score: Anna Karenina, Argo, Life of Pi, Lincoln, and Skyfall.
Skyfall deserved it.
And I'd replace Anna Karenina with The Avengers.
Thank you. That would be my choice. And somewhere, get Dark Knight Rises somewhere in there. Get that in there too. But yeah, somewhere.
2012 original song: Before My Time from Chasing Ice, Everybody Needs a Best Friend from Ted, Pi's Lullaby from Life of Pi, Skyfall, and Suddenly from Les Mis. And I replaced Before My Time and Suddenly with Lift to Rise from The Avengers and Song of the Lonely Mountain from The Hobbit.
I don't remember. Then again, I've never seen the whole thing of An Unexpected. Not any of the Hobbit movies, really. I haven't seen any. Really? I only know the fucking Ed Sheeran song for the second one. That's it. That's the one most people remember.
That the song for the first one feels kind of. I will say it feels kind of half-assed because they. I think what it was, they didn't really have a end credits song for the longest time until weeks before the movie released.
What the hell?
They were just playing originally it was just going to be them redoing the song, that they sing in the trailer that they sing in the
At
movie
this point, just
itself.
reuse Enya. Fuck it, just reuse Enya.
2013 original score. We have The Book Thief, Gravity, Her, Philomena, and Saving Mr. Banks. And I replaced Book Thief, Philomena, and Saving Mr. Banks with All Is Lost, Man of Steel, and The Wind Rises.
Get 12 Years a Slave in there.
Oh, the score is not good.
2013 song. Happy from Despicable Me 2, Let It Go
Oh
from
God.
Let It Go from Frozen.
Oh God, indeed. Oh God, even more.
The Moon Song from Her, and Ordinary Love from Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. And I replace Ordinary Love with Please Mr. Kennedy from Inside Llewyn Davis, and fill a last spot with Young and Beautiful from The Great Gatsby.
I don't know. This sounds like a really bad list. I mean, I guess Happy, but I like the song. It just got overplayed. Then again, Let It Go is an even worse example of that. So I should probably be grateful, but even though it won, but besides the point.
2014 score. Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Interstellar, Mr. Turner, and Theory of Everything. And I'd replace Mr. Turner and Theory of Everything with How to Train Your Dragon 2 and Under the Skin.
No, not Under the Skin. I gotta think of something else. I'll get back to you on that one.
2014 song. Everything is Awesome from the Lego Movie. Glory from Selma. Grateful from Beyond the Lights. I'm Not Gonna Miss You from Glenn Powell, I'll Be Me, and Lost Stars from Begin Again. And I replaced Glory, Grateful, and I'm Not Gonna Miss You with The Hanging Tree from Mockingjay Part 1, The Last Goodbye from The Hobbit 3, and Split the Difference from Boyhood.
I don't know. I don't think Glory's a good song in contest with the movie, but I think it doesn't work as a song by itself. So I guess Everything is Awesome should have won, but I don't know. They were going for the Oscar bait. That song is Oscar bait. That song is the definition of Oscar bait. The song from Selma, that is. The definition of it.
2015 score. Bridge of Spies, Carol, Hateful Eight, Sicario, and The Force Awakens. And I'd replace Bridge of Spies and Sicario with Inside Out and Mad Max Fury Road.
First of all, I keep Sicario. That score is incredible. So fuck you. Inside Out should be, and The Martian should get
so
mentioned.
Perfect.
2015 song. Earned It from 50 Shades of Grey for some reason.
Ugh.
Manta Ray from Racing Extinction. Simple Song number 3 from Youth. Till It Happens to You from The Hunting Ground. There you go. There's your Diane Warren song. And Ryan's on the Wall from Skyfall. And I replaced Earned It and Manta Ray with One Kind of Love from Love and Mercy. And See You Again from Furious 7.
See You Again should have been the fucking winner. I don't understand why it wasn't nominated. I don't understand. Because easily the best song of all of these. Like, Writings on the Wall, really? Just with the whining, is just like, Jesus Christ. It doesn't even fit the fucking movie, I don't think. Neither does a No Time to Die song, either.
Mm-hmm. 2016 score. Jackie, La La Land, Lion, Moonlight, and Passengers. And I replaced Passengers with A Monster Calls.
2016. What was it? Rogue One. Put Rogue One in there. Oh, wait, it's not original because it uses the Star Wars theme several times, even though the Rogue One theme plays more times than the Star Wars theme in that movie.
2016 song. Audition for Fools. Audition The Fools Who Dream, and City of Stars from La La Land. Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls. The Empty Chair from Jim, the James Foley Story, and How Far I'll Go from Moana. And I'd replace The Empty Chair with Driver Like You Stole It from Sing Street.
I would say the same thing. Even though I haven't seen that movie in God knows how long.
2017 score. Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, Shape of Water, The Last Jedi, and 3 Billboards. And I replaced Last Jedi and 3 Billboards with Blade Runner 2049 and War for the Planet of the Apes.
War for the Planet of the Apes, yes, but I would keep... Which ones you were eliminating?
Last Jedi and 3 Billboards.
Keep Last Jedi. Remove 3 Billboards. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
And Jose Unforgettable from Finding Dory, that's not an original song. In fact, it played in the movie Watchmen years before.
Oh,
Anyway, so 2017 song. We have Mighty River from Mudbound, Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name, Remember Me from
ew.
Remember Me from Coco, Stand Up for Something from Marshall, and This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. And I replaced Stand Up for Something with Evermore from Beauty and the Beast.
No, I mean, auto-tuned. No, not gonna happen on my watch. No auto-tune. Dan Stevens can sing, and yet they auto-tuned his ass anyway.
2018 score. Black Klansman, Black Panther, If Beale Street Could Talk, Isle of Dogs, and Mary Poppins Returns. And I replaced Black Klansman, Beale Street, and Mary Poppins with Infinity War, Mission Impossible Fallout, and Suspiria.
No Suspiria. Just put Ready Player One in there and be done with it.
Ready Player One's more of a soundtrack than anything.
No, the score is fucking excellent in that movie. Are you kidding me? This is total bullshit. Alan Silvestri did a great score for that movie. It played more than the fucking soundtrack. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's because you reused Back to the Future? That was only one time.
2018 song. We have All the Stars from Black Panther, I'll Fight from RBG, The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns, Shall from A Star Is Born, and When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from Ballad of Buster Scruggs. And I replace I'll Fight, Place Where Lost Things Go, and When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs with Ashes from Deadpool 2, Suspirium from Suspiria, and Sunflower from Spider-Verse. You'll be quiet, Victor.
Fuck off. Don't like that movie, and I still don't.
2019 score. 1917, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, and Rise of Skywalker. And I replaced Marriage Story and Rise of Skywalker with Endgame and Parasite.
I would probably do the same thing. People will say, oh no, they reused the Avengers theme several times. I'm like, fuck you. That's the best score Alan Silvestri's ever done in his entire fucking career. I'm like, that was practically a fucking Lifetime Achievement Award right there. But no, they didn't do that.
2019 song. We have I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4. I'm Gonna Love Me Again
That'll be my choice.
I love that song.
I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man. I'm Standing With You from Breakthrough. Into the Unknown from Frozen 2. And Stand Up from Harriet. And I'd replace I'm Staying With You with Glass of Soju from Parasite.
To be honest with you, I don't understand why Breakthrough was nominated for an Oscar. That movie is not good. It's the
Because
movie about
Diane
the
Warren,
kid.
that's why.
Yes, I understand, but it's like a faith-based movie that just really crawls against your skin. One of these faith-based movies gets nominated for an Oscar because Diane Warren wrote a fucking song for it. It really crawls under your skin.
Now, as promised last week, here's my Martin Scorsese ranking.
Ooh.
Oh boy, this is gonna compare this to Jared's. We gotta compare the two. You better put Kundun last, damn it.
Number 27, Boxcar Bertha.
Damn it, no Kundun.
I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, I have a soft spot for that one.
Number 26, Who's That Knocking on My Door?
Yeah.
Number 25, New York, New York.
Yeah.
Number 24.
That one I put at the very bottom, actually.
I don't blame you. Number 24, Kundun.
Yep.
There.
Just,
Fucking finally.
Just
Number 23, New York Stories.
Well,
see, this is why I was interested in seeing
as someone
yours, because
who has seen New York Stories because of a certain binge. That's the first time and last time I'll bring that up. But as someone who's seen it, the Marty Scorsese segment is the best segment in that movie, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
Indeed.
And then you know what's the worst one? The fucking Francis Ford Coppola segment. Holy shit, that is like genuinely awful.
Number 22, After Hours.
yeah. Hey, well, I mean, you have New York Stories on there, but it's funny because on my ranking and stuff, 22 is After Hours.
Number 21, Mean Streets.
Then again, I haven't
I've
seen
really
this.
come
I've seen the
around with
comment.
that movie. I ranked it so much lower the first time I ever watched it, but I love the movie now.
Number 20, Cape Fear.
I'm surprised it's this
I
slow.
really love that one.
Honestly, how Vic feels about Amy Mackin in Weapons, that's exactly how I feel about Robert De Niro in Cape Fear. Good performance,
Jesus.
feeling I can't take seriously.
Oh, great. It's Weapon Zero. Isn't that what the fucking prequel's gonna be called? Weapon Zero?
Funny thing, because a Glass prequel is going to be being developed.
Well, I know it's not developed. They're doing it. It's not being developed. They're doing it. I'm just thinking it's going to be called Weapon Zero. I don't know.
We'll see. Number 19, Bringing Out the Dead.
Great movie. Put it a little higher.
Number 18, one of the more recent Criterion inductions. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
I really love
Alice
but
Doesn't Live Here anymore. Like,
yeah, Jared keeps on telling me to see it. Jared keeps telling me to see it. He tells me if there's anyone that you haven't seen, watch that one. That's what he told me last time.
Number 17, a sequel that I'm vastly in the minority of preferring over the original, The Color of Money.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like, it's fine. It's good, but yeah.
Number 16, The Last Temptation of Christ.
Wow, I'm surprised it's this
That's
low.
my favorite one.
Wow, way to hurt his feelings.
I love my Jesus movies despite not being religious myself. I love me my Jesus.
Number 15, The Irishman.
Boring. Put it at the bottom like Dude.
Number 14, Shutter Island.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen that movie, but I don't know how I would feel about it because I already know how it ends.
With me, I find like the first like hour of that movie just so like phenomenally good, and then I just know where the movie's going, and so I'm just
By the way, speaking of Shutter Island, the writer of that movie is one of the co-writers of Alexander. Leda Calogridis wrote both.
Number 13, Gangs of New York.
Put it higher, god damn it. I don't care. It's one of my favorites.
You know how
I don't
many
care.
like with Tom Cruise, do you have any idea how many 5-star movies Scorsese's made?
I've done it. I understand, but I'm just saying that movie is so overhated. It's not even fucking funny. I feel like it's still overhated.
Number 12, The Aviator.
Great.
I love that movie so freaking much.
Number 11,
not as good as Gangs of New York, but still very good.
Number 11, Age of Innocence.
I don't know. It seems like something. Something that I would not like. It seems like something that I would not like.
It is definitely something you would not like.
Number 10, Silence.
Speaking of something I probably wouldn't like.
Fucking love Silence.
Number 9, Hugo.
Good, but I don't know. A little bit. I don't know.
Number 8, King of Comedy.
Never seen it.
One of the most stressful movies I've ever watched.
Number 7, Raging Bull.
You would probably get killed if you did this in public. You would get killed.
Again, it's still a 5-star movie. Number 6, Casino.
Oh, you prefer Goodfellas over Casino. You're that type of person. I still haven't seen Casino, so I can't determine if I like Casino more.
Number 5, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Great. I think it's a great movie. It's a movie that justifies the runtime, unlike The Irishman.
Number 4.
I'm glad that Apple came to their senses, by the way, and finally fucking allowed it to get a release.
Thank you. Yes.
Number 4, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
Number 3, The Departed.
Fuck you, Jerry. You put The Departed so low, it wasn't even
Departed
funny.
is number 20 for me.
That's my number 1 for the record. The Departed.
Number 2, Goodfellas.
Yeah, I think The Goodfellas is number 2 or 3.
And number 1,
Right now,
Taxi
anyway.
Driver.
Taxi Driver's up there too. But I'm just happy he put The Departed this high because number 20? Are you kidding me?
And that's
You
everything I
kidding
got.
Just different sensibilities.
Something tells me you're gonna like Infernal Affairs better than The Departed. Because it's a remake of Infernal Affairs. If you didn't know, you probably did.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I guess you know what? Wait, who went? No, that's not true. I'm gonna let Jared go because I went last. No, wait, did I? No, wait.
I can't
He went
remember.
last. Yeah, he went last. So
Yeah,
you go
I went
now.
last
I go
time.
last.
Because
I'm
you
trying to think
almost
about how
forgot
I
me
did.
last
I'm trying to, because yes, I almost forgot you. So go now before I talk X-Files and ramble on people.
All right.
This show.
First of all, I will. I was kind of because of the
One
movie
second.
we're talking
Moana
about.
having some scary images. Yeah. Maui's hair. That's a scary image.
Let's see. Because of the movie we are talking about, tonight I wanted to look at some historical epics, and the thing is that all the lists are the same when you like look up stuff online of like historical epics and everything. It's like they're just all similar. So I'm like, I had to like dig to like find something that was at least a little intriguing. And I found this on some random ass website called Fiction Horizon.
What in the hell? It sounds like Dark Horizons. I heard of that, but not Fiction Horizons.
These are the 25 best historical epic movies you probably haven't watched. And I have gone through these. And, like, I understand that, you know, like, not everybody has seen some of these historical epics and everything. But I think they just give up towards the end because then they just start putting shit where it's like, even if you haven't seen it, like, you know this movie exists and everything.
So
and
they
like,
just want to watch Mojo or a BuzzFeed at this point. In fact, Soren, I borrowed this book from the library the other day, and it had a quote from BuzzFeed on it. I'm like, oh great, this is gonna be quality entertainment.
No.
And I dare you. Look, I think BuzzFeed's list might be, especially when it comes to movies and TV, it could be just about as bad as Watch Mojo. Don't take any ideas, Soren. I swear to God, you just don't. Don't. If he does,
but like,
he's like, oh, BuzzFeed.com.
But at least in the beginning, this list kind of works. So we're looking at 25 best historical epic movies you probably haven't watched, and some of these I genuinely have not watched. So it's like some of them I don't have any comment on. But at number 25, we have The Fall of the Roman Empire from 1964.
I think I've heard of that.
This is Gladiator before Gladiator without gladiators. Because it deals with the exact same time period with Commodus becoming emperor. So, and I think, Alec Guinness plays the emperor.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I've seen a little bit of this movie, and like it's pretty good. Number 24, though, is a movie that like did not get good reviews back when it came out, but has become a little bit more beloved, especially for its pretty historically accurate depiction of the battle it's named after. It's Waterloo, the movie that they Yeah,
The
I
movie
think
that
yeah.
bombed so hard that Stanley Kubrick had to cancel his Napoleon movie.
Exactly. Yep. I've seen a few clips from this movie, and there's some people that have talked about the actor that plays Napoleon, like how like kind of corny it is. But there's literally a scene I watched, and I'm like, I thought he was like kind of phenomenal. So I don't know. Maybe I need to watch the whole movie to see. Number 23. This is a movie I've heard of. I've watched some that I've watched a guy on YouTube talk about this. Like he talks about a lot of historical epics. Zulu with Michael Caine or Michael.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because it deals with like colonialism in Africa and
But ought to be better than out of Africa.
number 22, not to be confused with Ridley Scott's Exodus, Gods and Kings,
Oh,
but we've got
God.
the 1960s movie Exodus.
Yeah, and here's what I think of that movie.
Yeah, Soren hates Exodus, Gods and Kings. He hates that movie to death. He really does.
I need to rewatch it. Like
All
I
know
have the
is that
Blu-ray,
apparently
but
there's
I
this
have not
yelling
rewatched.
kid.
I have
Apparently
not
there's this
watched it since
yelling.
the
This guy, this
theater.
kid yelling half the damn movie, and I think he's supposed to be God or something. I don't know.
Yes,
Which
he
doesn't make
is
any
the
sense.
manifestation of God. But yeah, I don't know much about this movie. Cypher, I think it's about after World War II, where they do a mass exodus of Jews going back to Israel. I think it's got Paul Newman in it, and the only thing I really know about the movie too is that my mom owns the vinyl soundtrack of it because she loved the soundtrack to it.
Oh man.
Number 21, movie I've not seen. Want to though. It's a Gear, The Wrath of God.
Never heard of that.
That's the
No.
Werner Herzog movie.
Oh, Warner Herzog. I want the asset. Sorry.
Love that movie.
Number 20. This is a movie I need to rewatch. But I also like loved this movie when I watched it. It's The Man Who Would Be King, which
I've heard of that.
It's got Sean Connery and Michael Caine.
We talked about this last time.
Off
Yeah.
a Rudyard Kipling book. It's not necessarily like an epic, but it's more like I would call it like just an adventure film.
Where's Baloo?
19. So this one, 19 is The Last Valley. I do not know what this is. Oh my God! It's another movie starring Michael Caine.
Oh Jesus!
This is the third one on this list. Set during the 30 Years' War. I don't even know what that is. Explores faith and survival in a brutal era. Okay. 18. This is from 1965. I've never heard of this. It's called The Warlord with Charlton Heston.
Nope. Doesn't ring a bell.
11th century Europe. Oh, speaking of Charlton Heston, number 17. This is one that I've actually heard of and I want to watch because it's done by the same guy that did Fall of the Roman Empire. It's El Cid.
I've heard of that.
Let's see, yeah, he plays the Spanish hero who united Christians and Muslims against invaders. This I've been wanting to see. Number 16 is The Lion in Winter.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
Katharine Hepburn and Peter O'Toole. I've heard a lot about this. One of my history professors, she really loved this movie a lot. especially like the costumes and stuff. Number 15, again, a movie I know nothing about aside for I think it's a very memorable poster, and it's Beckett with Richard Burton and Peter O'Toole.
I think that's the
Think I've-
prequel to Lion in Winter. Don't quote me on
Because
that.
it's about Henry II, who was the father of Richard the Lionheart.
Maybe, I don't know.
Number 14, I've heard some things about this movie from, us we're never going to be able to see the true, like, massive cut that this movie had. And also that I've heard it's just John Wayne cowboy propaganda in some ways. It's the Alamo.
Jeez.
Where he
Then
stars
again,
as Davy Crockett.
Oh, jeez. I remember watching the Disney Davy Crockett. You kidding me? They remade this in 2004. It's probably better than this fucking movie, but just barely. I don't know.
I still want to see that one. I'm more interested in maybe seeing that one. Because it comes out during the early 2000s epic boom. Speaking of that, we got Kingdom of Heaven.
I've seen it. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, I love that movie.
Listen, I watched the director's cut, and I'm thinking I made a mistake usually watching that for the first time. I should have just watched the fucking theatrical cut the first time. And I know people say, oh, the theatrical cut's not good. But I feel like when I was watching the director's cut, I'm like, oh, it's so long. And then I was starting to lose interest by almost at the end. I'm just like, oh, it's a good movie, but...
It's very interesting how different of a movie. Like, and I'm somebody that, like, loved the movie even before watching the director's cut. It flaws and all and stuff, but it is crazy how different of a movie it is. At number 12, we've got The Mission.
Yes, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I don't know about this movie.
Roland Joffe directed it. He directed The Killing Fields.
Interesting.
He also did Super Mario Brothers, but we don't talk about that. The initial Super Mario Brothers movie, what John Wick was on with Bob Hoskins.
This is a movie I hate saying it and stuff, but number 11, it's a movie I really have no interest in seeing. It's The Last Emperor.
Oh,
the Bernardo Bertolucci movie.
Yeah.
At least he redeemed himself after the whole Last Tango in Paris controversy.
I don't think he ever redeemed himself after that.
Now, this is a movie I want to see. It's combining them into one movie here because it makes sense. Number 10 is Red Cliff.
Oh, I've heard we rented the second movie, but not the first one. I want to watch the full length cut because I think in America we got like a cut down version that had two, like the two parts were like
full 5-hour cut. Honestly, believe it or not, it felt like nothing.
I mean, I would like to watch the full 5 hours. I just don't know where to find it because we only got the abridged version in America, I think. And maybe, or I think maybe, I don't know, or it was more common to find than the whole 5-part thing.
Let's see here. Number 9, The Duelists, which is Ridley Scott's first movie.
Yeah.
You'll need to see that.
I've watched this movie. This was a very early review that I did. I think I did it because I was interested in watching like directors' first movies. I don't remember a whole lot of it. I remember it being very pretty though, and the sword fights in it were really good. But I don't remember a whole lot about it. So in need of a rewatch. Number 8. This is one that I really want to watch too. It's the 1984 remake of Mutiny on the Bounty, just called The Bounty.
Yeah, with Mel Gibson, one of the
I've
first
heard it.
PG-13 movies ever classified.
Yes. Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins. I'm interested in watching this.
Does
Number
Mel
7.
Gibson shout anti-Semitics over the phone in that movie?
Number 7. This is a movie I need to rewatch really, really badly. Because I own it, but I've not seen it in a very long time. Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World.
I've never seen that movie, but I heard it's excellent. I've heard it's excellent. And I
That's
heard
what
the
I've
4K, the 4K looked great, and it sounded really. Especially, I heard the DVD especially sounded apparently really fucking good for a DVD.
Okay, this is funny. Number 6. It's literally a movie I mentioned last week because when we were talking about like what movies I like.
Listen, I thought it was the other movie from earlier in the list that you mentioned last week. I must have forgotten it for a certain other Sean Connery movie.
Yeah, The Name of the Rose.
I'll see it. I'll see it by next week's episode.
Number 5. See, now this is where like I can kind of get it, but I'm like, I feel like more people have seen this movie than you think and stuff, because it's like, but The Last of the Mohicans.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Number 4. I really need to watch this movie because I now own it on 4K. It's Barry Lyndon. What Kubrick
great.
did
More 3-hour
he couldn't
Stanley
make
Kubrick.
Napoleon. Number 3. This is a movie I need to see really bad because I have only seen the director's other samurai epic, Seven Samurai. We're looking at Ran.
I'm surprised they didn't say Yojimbo or Rashomon or any of them.
Yeah. Well, only like 2 of his movies are like 3.5
or Kagemusha.
Okay. This is where I'm like, I get it. Probably some people haven't seen this, but it's like, this is like considered like one of the greatest movies of all time and everything, and it's like, why are you just like randomly putting this on here? I feel like the list gave up. Number 2, The Bridge on the River Kwai.
What? Everybody's heard of that movie. At least heard of it.
Yeah, it's just, which, I mean, I understand it is, the list is you probably haven't watched, but it at least the idea of the list is like, these are movies that like maybe nobody talks about, or they're under the radar. At least like that's what it is for most of the list, and then it's just the big heavy hitters. Because number 1,
now.
Why the fuck is it Lawrence of Arabia?
Are you kidding? Okay. I haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia, but at the same time, I've at least heard of it. Oh God! Come on.
I don't know.
I'd easily replace them with Alexander and Nicholas and Alexandra. At least their movies.
Yeah, like something like that. Like, I didn't hear about.
I'm gonna go something
Alexandra until you told me about it, Soren. So
I would be. You know what I would put on this list too? I feel like even though this movie did make money back when it came out, it did make money because it came out in the early to mid 2000s boom of historical epics. But I feel like this movie's been forgotten by time. I really don't understand why. The Last Samurai at least deserved a fucking spot on this list. But no, we gotta go.
On the list.
That's ridiculous.
Because
absolutely ridiculous.
This list is more fun when it's like, okay, like, yeah, like,
hell, I'll even
this list,
Napoleon.
I had never heard of this movie called The Last Valley or The Warlord or, you know, stuff like that. And it's like, or at least like, I'm like, oh yeah, that movie exists and everything. But no, it's like, I know Lawrence of Arabia exists.
It's just, come on. Ridiculous. Stupid.
Now,
Like,
now I have one more topic, because I will say, I'm like, I had no idea what the fuck I was going to talk about tonight, because where Morgan was gone on a conference trip, we didn't watch like any Better Call Saul, so like I'm still on like episode 2 of season 2, but hopefully that will change throughout the week. So I'll just talk about a movie that I saw that I mentioned of like what it was right before we went on air. Soren's already gone over, watching this entire series, but I'm just going to talk about the first movie in a franchise that is being reinvigorated this year. The first Scary Movie,
oh,
which I
Jesus
had never
Christ. So much for our
fully
plan of
seen.
reviewing all the scary movies now. We're throwing that put in the trash.
To be fair,
Oh, I
I've-
forgot we were talking about. I forgot we were.
I was planning it, but you know what? Fuck it. Now I gotta figure out something else. Man, again, I have to think about what we're gonna do for 4th of July.
We can still do it. We can still do it. I'm sorry.
Brandon, it's only the first movie. You haven't seen 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I like Scary Movie is the only one that like I had seen before, and it was like heavily edited for TV. So I won't go into like big details. We can still do it and everything.
Yeah, I think we can still do it.
Because that.
Besides, it's something I haven't even seen. I've seen any of this fucking franchise. So let's just talk about it now, just in case this never happens.
Okay. Well, I will say with Scary Movie, like, okay, when it comes to spoof movies, most of them do not age well.
No.
And most of them are bad.
Very bad.
Some of the worst movies ever. But I have this strange fascination with them because they are like interesting little time capsules. Because it is in a way kind of fun in the sense of you're like, oh yeah, these are the movies that were coming out at that point in time and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, that is crazy that all these movies were coming out. Like, but Scary Movie sort of started all this, or didn't start all this, but it's like it kind of
like, yeah, the modern equivalent of it. It's funny
reinvigorated.
I don't know if you know this, but this movie there was 2 different Scary Movie parodies being done at Dimension at the same time. One being written by the Wayans brothers, and then another was written, I think, by what the fuck's their names? Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was that Harvey Weinstein, or Bob Weinstein, went with the Wayans brothers script, but I think Seltzerberg didn't I think they tried to get a writing credit, even though they did not write this fucking movie. They did not write it at all. And yet they tried hard to get a writing credit, and they ultimately did, even though it wasn't even their fucking work. And that's why on the posters for like everything they did, like Date Movie and Epic Movie, they said 2 from the 6 writers of Scary Movie, even though they didn't write fucking Scary Movie. They had the fucking. They didn't write the fucking thing.
To be fair, the first Scary Movie is more clever than any of the Seltzerberg movies I've seen.
Because Seltzerberg didn't even write it. They just had to get a writing credit because there's 2 different scripts. Were very similar to each other. It's just that they picked the Wayans for a script because that was a better script.
Oh my god. Yeah, so with Scary Movie, I was like, you know what? Yeah, like I'll watch it. I'll watch this and stuff and see how it is. And yeah, it is such a movie of its time. I will say there's some fun things in it. it's not like devoid of laughter or anything. That there are things that like nothing that I really like laughed out loud at, but like that I would chuckle at. There's certain things in the beginning of the movie because the movie is a full-on parody of Scream, and a little bit of
technically,
Scream too.
actually, no. I think it's more of a parody of Scream meets with I Know What You Did Last Summer. Those are the main two targets.
Yes. In the beginning, that there's certain things that I find fun, like Carmen Electra at the very beginning of this movie.
Oh God,
being the one
God,
that's
help
being
me.
called and everything. And there's certain things that I'm like, in a spoof movie, okay, yeah, that makes sense to make fun of it in a certain way, because where it's one of those weird things where Scream isn't necessarily like making fun of, the cliches of like slasher films. They at least like call them out, like the tropes and stuff. Not for, to make fun of them, but to like use
I think they're
them
making
in
fun of
new
them.
and creative ways.
As the Scream fan in here, as a Scream fan, yeah, they're making fun of them. I completely disagree with that.
But something that I found like really funny in the beginning is like Carmen Electra, like as soon as she starts talking to the person on the phone, just goes straight to locking every door in the house. Like as an extremely smart person should do, but they never do in a scary movie. And then like there's a few other jokes too. One that's like, I don't know if it was meant to be funny at all, but I found it funny. So that there's a moment where Anna Faris's character Cindy mentions about that guy that they killed last year. And then this is where we get our, references to, I Know What You Did Last Summer. And here it's I Know What You Did Last Halloween. Well, anyway, it does a flashback, and you're like, oh, this is it. It does a flashback to like this when they killed somebody, and the flashback goes on for so freaking long that you literally forget what, like, the reason this flashback exists, because there's like stupid jokes like within the flashback, and you're like, you get to the point and you just like forgot what was happening, and I found that at least funny. There's also another joke with and I think it's probably the best performance in the movie, the guy that plays the sheriff. Because the best thing about, like, say something like The Naked Gun was how serious Leslie Nielsen and also Liam Neeson took the role. Like, there's ridiculous things happening and everything, but they play their roles so, like, seriously. And so that's where the fun comes, when it doesn't feel like they're in on the joke. And there's just like this scene of him asking Cindy to like look at like these pictures to like identify them and stuff, and it's like pictures of like the sheriff like posing in like pseudo-sexual poses and everything. It's really, really stupid, but it got a chuckle out of it. I will say that most of the stuff, like when it comes to the Wayans brothers themselves, they have funny scenes. But also, like, really, it's like a lot of the jokes lean in towards things that just I don't find funny anymore. Like, very homophobic, very like transphobic, very like just, it's like, oh, like we're hitting all the phobias.
Oh,
Here.
jeez.
and it's just like very tired. And also, I'm gonna say this: Anna Faris is like terrible in this movie. Like, I genuinely think she's not good, at all. Maybe even the worst performance in the movie. I know that's crazy.
Jesus Christ, and this is what she's known for.
Yeah. But yeah, she just doesn't have like any personality, I think, with that role or anything. Again, I won't talk too much about it and everything, but like, yeah, it was a meh movie. I liked aspects of it, but it's just not a movie that's aged well at all. But I think Victor, that you'll like at least one little thing when they make fun of Blair Witch Project.
That's one of the only scenes I'm aware of, at least like vaguely aware of. I don't know what the joke is, but I'm vaguely aware of that scene.
Joke works pretty well, especially like with the scene that it is mimicking. I think it works pretty well. But yeah,
I'm assuming it's Heather's apology.
Scary movie, because we may talk about it in the future.
Yeah, and I would only suspect it only gets worse from here. Oh man!
Also, the what's that? Like, okay, that's pretty fun.
That's arguably the funniest one. The funniest part of that.
The changing the changing ghost face mask is pretty good. Pretty good.
Oh man! And then apparently, this movie makes fun of Buffy a couple of times too. A couple of times.
I will say too,
from what I understand,
for a movie that does focus mainly on like horror, it does decide to just be like, hey, let's do The Matrix.
That's the one thing about these scary movies I don't understand. They parody other types of movies too.
Yeah,
it's like movie 4, the main parody that they're hitting on, I believe, is War of the Worlds, which is not a fucking scary movie. It's a sci-fi disaster movie. We're talking about the Spielberg War of the Worlds. We're not talking about Primary right now. We're not. Although maybe in Scary Movie 6 they can make fun of that if they had time to actually film something about it. I mean, they had time to put in Sinners at the last second, so they had time. Anyway.
All right.
I don't know. Okay, I think it's time for me to go now. Oh, great. The viewership is gonna go down. Man, again, they wanted me to fucking review this fucking show, so damn it, I'm gonna give it to them. Ow, my feet. It's killing me now. Let's talk about season 5 of The X-Files, which aired from 1997 to 1998. In fact, this season actually did not premiere in September or October. It actually premiered November 2nd, 1997. Why, you may ask? Very simple. After season 4 finished filming, Chris Carter and everybody else put their attention to the X-Files movie. They shot the movie first.
Oh.
And not the season. In fact, this season was written and they had to plan the whole season out from day one to lead into the X-Files movie. Because very important. It's not like the movie was some standalone bullshit. No, it's like the cornerstone of the mythology isn't the movie. So where were we last time? Yeah, I should probably go over a couple of notes I wrote down because Jared is not aware of what happened probably in season 4.
No.
He knows what happened in the first season of Millennium, but he does not know what happened in season 4. So these are a couple notes that I wrote down, some of which involves the production, some of which involves just major storylines. So here's the notes I wrote down. We believe, remember the fucking alien guy who could shapeshift into people saying that he might know where Samantha is? Yeah, when we eventually find Samantha, it's not her. She's been cloned again. This time as a little girl. She's been cloned several times by the government. X, that's Mulder's, informant, gets shot and killed by the syndicate, the government. Mulder's new informant comes shortly thereafter. A woman named Marita Covarrubias. I can never pronounce her name right, but I think I got that right. Covarrubias, who is the assistant to the special representative to the head of the UN. She is a morally ambiguous character. It is heavily implied that she is working with the syndicate late in the season. So she might be bad news. Another note, Glenn Morgan and James Wong return to the X-Files after a one-season absence because Space Above and Beyond got canceled. And their one condition to return, other than also, side note, they were also writers on Millennium concurrently. So they were writing the X-Files and Millennium at the same time. They had two conditions. One, to write only 4 episodes this season. I think that makes sense because I think they wrote more episodes of Millennium that season than the X-Files. And 2, on their episodes that they wrote, that they would cast people who they worked with on Space Above and Beyond on their episodes. So in Glenn Morgan's words, quote, the world can finally see them. Carter agreed to both conditions. Their first episode back was among one of the most very controversial episodes of the series. In fact, I think it was banned in a couple of countries because of what it's about. It's about this group of deformed brothers. They're they have deformed figurement all over their bodies, and they're in this quiet town that doesn't really have anything going on, and they bury their deformed babies. What makes that even worse, like they bury them alive, by the way. They buried the deformed babies alive. If you think that's bad enough, wait till you hear this. Wait, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my fucking machine is fucking internet. So what makes it even worse is that the mother of those babies is the matriarch of that family. We're dealing with incest on the X-Files.
Boy.
And you wonder why this was banned in certain countries to the point where
My
Fox
sister is
rarely
my daughter.
Fox barely broadcasted that episode ever again. They broadcasted it only one more time after that, and they landed with a fucking TVMA rating. That's how bad it was. What's next? Alex Krycek, that annoying prick, is back, fresh out of the silo from last season, where after the black oil left his body, though he was in the 1013 silo, and I've noticed there's a lot of references to 1013 in this show. Mulder's birthday is October 13th. We're stuck in the 1013 silo. Chris Carter's birthday is 1013, and his production company is called 1013 Productions. So a lot of 1013. Anyway, the group of terrorists got him out of the silo after the black oil left his body. Mulder travels with him to a gulag in Russia where there have been experiments being done on prisoners using the black oil. It's pretty much a black oil vaccine. Mulder becomes one of these prisoners and he gets, this tested on. But don't worry, he's fine after this 2-part episode. And Krycek is working with the men responsible for these experiments. So Krycek has become bad again. My next note's kind of funny. Tuco Salamanca is the Chupacabra, and I didn't mention this last week. There was a Super Bowl episode about a guy who literally eats cancer from people, and the most shocking revelation of the season happens at the very end, where pretty much it's revealed because he tries to eat Scully because Scully has cancer, and it's revealed that she does indeed have a tumor. Yeah. And it's
not a tumor.
And it's because of her abduction because remember in season 3, she was talking to those women who've been abducted and they all had cancer and they pretty much all died. Yeah, she has the same symptoms. So they planned this out from the very beginning. That leads into my favorite episode of that season called Memento Mori, where Scully has to really face the fact that she has a deadly tumor while Mulder and the lone gunman, which I feel like I barely mentioned the lone gunman as in general, the group, the lone gunman, the hacker group, this conspiracy group, which we'll talk about later. They've been in this thing since season 1, but I barely mentioned them because they're more very comedic a lot of the time, but we'll mention them later. They try to find a cure for cancer. They come up short. In the second best episode of the season, Mulder and Scully have to deal with a man who impregnated 5 women and caused them to give birth with babies with tails. Because this guy is a tail, and he also has the ability to alter his appearance and become somebody else, and he becomes Mulder. And Scully and Skinner and all of them get confused. They think it's the real Mulder, even though he's acting completely strange. He doesn't act like Mulder at all. And David Duchovny essentially has to kind of make an ass out of himself in this episode. It's fucking hysterical. There's a scene where the guy being possessed by Mulder, he's like in his apartment. He gets into his apartment, Mulder's apartment, and he's looking at himself in the mirror, does the whole taxi driver thing. And he's like, you talking to me? You talking to me? It's just the company making a fool out of himself. And then at the end of the episode, he goes over to Scully's apartment and has he gets her a bottle of wine, and he almost kisses Scully because the will they won't they, until the real Mulder shows up right on Scully's front door, and he sees the real Scully, and it's just like. By the way, Vince Gilligan wrote that episode, so obviously, I feel like he's trying to become the new Darren Morgan. Darren Morgan wrote a lot of the best episodes of The X-Files so far, including one of my personal favorites, Jose Chung's from Outer Space from season 3, and Humbug from season 2. Really, and by the way, the guy is played by Darren Morgan. They got him for the part because Vince Gilligan thought he was the only person who could do it. So they had to bring him back to act in this. So yeah, it's great. I love that episode. Poor Mulder gets arrested for a crime he didn't commit and needs to retrace his memory, but to figure out what happened is implied in this particular episode that the cigarette smoking man may or may not be responsible for Samantha Mulder's abduction. The season 4 finale, which I kind of ranted about, is I think the worst finale the show's ever done, aside from a few strong elements. Mulder learns from this guy named Michael Krichkow, a Defense Department employee, that the whole aliens conspiracy is a hoax. An alien assassin tasked with killing 2 people who saw an alien corpse in Canada, which Mulder did go see this alien corpse in the fucking cold mountain of Canada, confirms all of this. Scully even tells Mulder that she found out that the government gave her cancer to, quote, make him believe. Mulder is devastated and distraught. During all of this, Scully appears before an FBI panel set up by Blevins, who was the guy in the pilot episode who set up Scully to investigate Mulder and work with him on the X-Files. We haven't seen him since the first season, and now he reappears because of all this. And she tells them that Mulder was found dead by a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and that's how the season ends. Needless to say, he ain't dead. He's not dead. And people actually believe that he was dead, which I don't understand why, because David Duchovny had to not only film this season, but film the fucking movie. Of course he was going to be in this season. Why would he be in the movie otherwise? Why would he be if he was really dead? So we find out very quickly that Mulder is not dead. What happened was that when Mulder was completely depressed, the same assassin who killed those 2 guys with the alien corpse found out where he lived. He found out where his apartment was and attempted to kill him. Michael Krichkow gives Mulder a call about this, and Mulder kills the assassin at his apartment and leaves the body there. He then goes to Scully's apartment and tells her that they've been involved in the hoax for the last 4 years, which, considering everything we've seen, yeah, I don't think it's exactly a hoax, but we'll get there. They have to plan to expose the lies by lying. Scully goes up to Scully goes up to Mulder's dead body, which is the assassin, the next morning and claims that it is him to 80 Skinner. Mulder now has the assassin's ID to get into the Defense Department, meets with Krichgau there to find out more information, what's going on. I wrote in my notes. I won't get into all of it since it's so complex and complicated, but just know that the government made up the whole alien thing in the 40s and 50s to mislead the public so they wouldn't get into troubles over the wars and nuclear weapons they were creating. That's what we're led to believe. I don't think that's the case, and we'll get to that later. The reason why I'm going through all this is because this season premiere, this two-parter, is so complicated, I had to write everything down.
Oh my god.
So, Mulder's card that he had obtained gave him access to level 4, where potentially the cure for Scully's cancer is in level 4. While this is going on, Scully is in big trouble with Blevins because she's been talking to Krichgau too and being led into top secret info. He asked her to explain himself at the FBI panel from that finale that night. So we're dealing with non-linear sort of storytelling, kind of. He goes to level 4. Mulder goes to level 4. He finds fake alien bodies as well as other women that the government has been experimenting on. At this point, I genuinely feel like, because Mulder at this point, he could have said, hey, I'm looking for Samantha, but he cares for Scully so damn much, he would rather find a cure for her immediately than find out where Samantha was. And that goes to show where I think at this point, he's in love with her and she's in love with him, but they just cannot confess their feelings to one another. I think I felt this way since season 4. The will they, won't they is just becoming so fucking strong at this point. Back to what I was saying. God, I wrote so much that I lost where my place is. Come on. Okay. Level 4, I mentioned that. The Cigarette Smoky Man, or I'm just going to call him CSM for short, because I am not going to say Cigarette Smoky Man all the time. So if I say CSM, that's who I'm referring to. So CSM breaks into Mulder's apartment to see if he's still alive. The assassin, Scully finds out, was speaking to Skinner, and Skinner might be in on what's going on, but spoiler alert, he has nothing to do with it. Michael Krichgau's son came back sick from the Cold War, so he's looking for a cure for his sickness as well. Mulder goes into level 4 while Krichgau is detained by the FBI or the military. Mulder finds a bunch of women being experimented on, fake alien bodies, like I mentioned before. Skinner knows that Mulder is lying about the body, ultimately. Mulder is snooping around the Pentagon and may have found the cure for Scully's cancer and the cure for Krichgau's son. CSM knows that Mulder is still alive. Skinner enters the FBI panel, so as a result, Dana, Scully, is, going through her investigation, like talking to these fucking FBI people led by Blevins, we know it might be bad news. Right before she's about to expose who she thinks is the man who has been kind of, I'd say, setting them up, she has a nosebleed and passes out. The cancer has gotten worse. And then Mulder brings the cure to the lone gunman, who tells him that the cure is nothing but deionized water. No cure. To be continued in the second part of his two-parter, which also happens to be a milestone. The 100th episode of the X-Files. That's right. Whenever you have that kind of milestone, you have to go big or go home. Now, I'm comparing with another, compared to, say, Lost, I feel like this episode went bigger than Lost did for its 100th episode. The only really major thing that they did in Lost 100 episode in season 5 is kill off somebody.
Yeah.
And I think Jared knows who it is. Somebody gets shot. Let's put it that way. Somebody gets shot. And it just that episode ends with this death too. It just after he shot, the episode's over. I won't say who. I'm not even gonna give a hint. Fuck it. You know what? I'm just gonna put in the fucking private chat. If I can fucking remember. Oh God. Who was it? Who was it that died? God. Oh, yes. Okay.
I was like, do you want me to say it or?
I put in the private chat. Or is this the same person we're thinking?
Let's see. Yep.
Okay. Now I'm gonna remove that so Soren can't see it. Oh wait, I can't. Oh God, now here we go. Now, let's put that out of context. But so in this episode, it starts out with Mulder going into the hospital to see Scully. He's extremely panicked. She is practically on her deathbed at this point. She is really fucking sick. Skinner and some of her agents were in the hospital and see Mulder, who was clearly not dead. So Skinner's a little bit pissed with him. Scully doesn't look too well in the ICU. Mulder's brought to Blevins to be questioned. He doesn't give him any answers. Skinner is on Mulder's side as he has been withholding the forensic info of the assassin. So Skinner is on Mulder's side. Unless Mulder plays ball, though, he will be forced to give the FBI the evidence. Scully essentially makes a self-sacrifice, telling Mulder to tell the FBI that she was the one responsible for killing that assassin. Which is noble, but, you know, he didn't do it. And then, at this point, Mulder's mother, not Mulder's mother, Scully's mother comes in, as well as Scully's brother, who we met late last season, named Bill. He's like this military guy, and needless to say, Bill gets a little bit more of a major role in this season, a little bit more, and he's a prick. I don't like him. He's just like, at one point, implying that Mulder is the one that gave the Scully cancer because of his crazy theories and his search for Samantha. I'm just like, fuck you, you arrogant prick. I understand your sister's dying, but there's no need to act that way with Mulder, damn it. Damn it. Yeah, he's a bit of an ass. We get another syndicate assassin named Quiet Willie. So is this the cousin to Free Willy? CSM meets with Mulder and claims that he does indeed have the cure for the cancer in that little vital that he found, and not just deionized water. And he's saying that CSM was trying to help. He wants to help him as a friend. Needless to say, out of the 4 years we've known the cigarette smoking man, I don't think you should trust him, Mulder. Why would he suddenly be, okay, I'm trying to help you as a friend, even though he's been trying to practically kill him for 4 straight years? Obviously, we know that's total bullshit. So Mulder and the lone gunman eventually find a microchip inside this cure. That may be the cure to Scully's cancer. That may be the cure, this microchip. Kritchkow's not being questioned by the FBI. He's revealed that his son died earlier that morning. Mulder suggests to put this chip inside of Scully at the hospital. Bill Scully does not react well to this at all. And Mulder gets a call from the cigarette smoking man and arranges a meeting with him to meet somebody special. After 4 years, he finally gets to see Samantha in the flesh. After all this time he's been looking, all this time, she is finally here, and she's in the custody of cigarette smoking. If this even is the real Samantha, we don't know if this is the real one, because with all the clones and shit, I'm just like, is this another clone? Is this really it? I'm just confused. I was just like, we don't really know. But assuming if it is the real her, she claims that cigarette smoking man is her father. What? Mulder tells her that it may not be true. She leaves completely overwhelmed and doesn't give him any kind of contact info. So even if this is Samantha, Mulder still gets virtually no closure. Cigarette smoking man offers to give Mulder the truth, his sister, and all that other stuff. saying that what Critchgow had said to him in the previous episode was not true. He has only one condition, though. He wants Mulder to quit the FBI and come work with him. Mulder, obviously, not being a fucking idiot, turns it down. Scully eventually has the chip put inside her. I will not review her fan until the very end. Blevins tells Mulder that Scully was going to out Skinner as the perpetrator in the FBI that was plotting against her and Mulder. But yeah, it could save his life if he said that to them. But he is not taking the deal. He tells Scully he's not going to take the deal, protecting Skinner, but he doesn't know what to do. So he arrives at his FBI panel meeting late, and the panel grills him over and over and over again until finally says the man who was working behind this plot. You want to know who it is? This is a complete shocker. The man behind it all, apparently, is Blevins himself. The whole guy who set Scully up for the X-Files in the first place may be involved in that. And with one scene later, he gets shot and killed. And in the Quiet Willie assassin I mentioned before, shoots the cigarette smoking man, and he's presumed dead. There is good news, though. The chip worked. Scully is in remission. The cancer is gone. Thank God. No more suffering for Scully, even because, especially, you know, in that cancer storyline, you're just like, you just feel so awful. And Julie Anderson plays it so well. In fact, I forgot to mention this in my notes for season 4. She won the Emmy for Outstanding Actress in the Drama Series last season because of that storyline. It's crazy. But then we go into other episodes, which I'm going to rapid fire. I just wanted to go for that because that's a big mythology arc. Episode 3 deals with the origins of the lone gunman, how they met Mulder, and how they got into all the conspiracies. Essentially, at the beginning of this episode, because this whole episode takes place in 1989, so like 4 years before the X-Files even begins as a series, and they are being questioned by Munch from Law & Order SVU. And it's the same character because Richard Belzer practically plays Munch he played him on Homicide, Life on the Street. He played him on the original Law & Order. He played him on the Law & Order SVU. And now he's playing Munch on the X-Files. So technically Dick Wolf and Barry Levinson and Tom Fontana, their shows are now connected to the X-Files. There it's canon. Dick Wolf shows are now canon with the X-Files. There is aliens in SVU, and I don't mean illegal aliens. I'm talking actual aliens and monsters. But it's a funny episode. It's a very light episode, which considering the darkness of the previous two and how depressing it could get and how you feel every kind of emotion in that two-parter, it's a nice episode. It's a very nice episode. And you see the origin stories of Byers, for example, the youngest of them all, was working for the FCC. Fro Hickey, who is a sex-starved maniac who, for the first 2 seasons, was flirting with Scully the entire time because he was so horny. He wanted Scully and was like, oh, okay, way too old for her. And Langley, who looks like Gar from Wayne's World. He looks like fucking Dana Carvey in Wayne's World. They both sell illegal TV. I can give you free HBO, free Showtime, free Cinemax. And they both have flaws into how they work with the illegal cable. This is back when piracy was a little harder. Now piracy, it's so easy to do. It's just like, oh, good times. You had to get an illegal box to watch illegal free HBO. It's the start of a beautiful friendship, and Mulder by the end becomes best friends with them. And he, at the end of the episode, he tells about the whole plot that happened in this episode. And Mulder's reaction is like, what? Because he doesn't know because he doesn't think aliens took Samantha yet. And he's like, what? And that's how he kind of starts that little conversation suggests that's how he knew that aliens abducted Samantha. It's kind of funny. Episode 4 deals with, we're back to the present. Mulder and Scully have to go to this teamwork building seminar with 2 other agents of the FBI that irritate the shit out of Mulder. Like, he is completely irritated by these two other FBI agents. He wants to get out of the damn car. Luckily, there's a roadblock and a police investigation around there, so he gets out of the car just to kind of get out of the damn car and just, like, ignore these two. What happens is they have to deal with, essentially, what amounts to invisible men with red eyes. Essentially, these are Mothman. And no, Jared, Richard Gere is not in this episode.
No.
I know how much you love the Mothman prophecies, even though you claim it's historically inaccurate. That's why I always wanted to review the Mothman prophecies, because he has such a love-hate relationship with that movie.
It like as a movie itself and everything, it's pretty all right and everything, but then it's like, man, it kind of makes you feel dirty.
And there's this great moment in this episode where Scully and Mulder are stranded in the woods. Mulder is attacked by the Mothman. They build a fire to get warm, and they have a good talk, a very funny talk. And in order to let Mulder, rest and know that she is still awake, because this Mothman could attack at any point, she asks her to sing songs in the campfire, and she ends up singing Joy to the World by Three Dog Night. That's the other Three Dog Man Night song that I'm familiar with, or the other one from Supernova. I forget the name of that one. She says that she can't carry a tune. I'm just like, Scully, you know what? I just had to get through fucking Cindy Sweetie singing Unwritten poorly. You sound so much better than her, it's not even funny. There you go. Take a shot. I don't care. We're still having this game. Take a shot. Episode 5 is one of the very best episodes of The X-Files, named The Postmodern Prometheus. This is the first episode of the show to be shot in black and white. That's right. This whole episode, aside from the framing device at the beginning, the intro to the show, and then the closing logos, the 1013 logo and the Fox logo at the end, everything else is in black and white. Those parts are in color. But it deals with Mulder and Scully investigating reports of this mysterious creature who has impregnated a middle-aged woman. They find that monster, nicknamed the Great Mutato. He is the genetic creation of a Frankenstein-like doctor. That's right. This is kind of like their riff on Frankenstein. And it's mixed in with the fact is that this monster really likes Cher. He really likes Cher. Remember, this is before Believe came out, okay? This is before that fucking song. And his favorite movie is the movie Mask, the Peter Bogdanovich movie that Cher was in. Remember with Eric Stoltz with the deformed face? That's his favorite movie because he relates to Eric Stoltz's character. He listens to nothing but Cher, and he apparently is impregnating women. It turns out that's not true. This town, believe it or not, is also obsessed with some reason with Jerry Springer. And Jerry Springer makes a cameo as himself in this episode.
Oh my god.
So clearly this is a comedic episode. This is not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. And what happens is that the creator is the one responsible for all the impregnations, and he didn't mean to hurt anybody. And what happens is that the creator's father was the one who was taking care of this mutato creature, and he was taking care of him. He wanted to create either a friend or find a friend or a mate for him. He tried to create one. It didn't work out too well. What happens is that the creator, who's played by John O'Hurley. You might remember him as the guy who does the dog shows every Thanksgiving. He also was Elaine's boss on Seinfeld during the infamous English Patience clip I played in the Brutalist episode. He was in that clip as Elaine's boss. He was also the host of Family Feud for a couple of years before Steve Harvey took it over. So he's the one responsible. He murders his own father, the creator, and he comes up with a line that Mutato did all this, even though it was not true. And Mutato explains himself because he's not accepted by this community whatsoever. And what happens is that the creator is arrested, and Mulder feels unjust about Mutato not getting his bride, his friend or whatever. So he asks, because there's this kid who wrote a comic book about Mutato, exposing him essentially. And he asks, we think that he asks him, I want to speak to the writer. So he comes in the door and Mulder says it again. I want to speak to the writer, which pretty much this is my interpretation. He's not referring to the comic book kid who wrote the comics. He's referring to Chris Carter, who wrote and directed this particular episode. He is speaking kind of an off-screen Chris Carter. And what happens is the end of the episode is one of the best endings of the entire run so far. I think it's honestly the happiest ending that the X-Files ever did. And what happens is that they take him on a drive, Mulder and Scully do, and what they do is they take him to a Cher concert where he ends up dancing with her, and then Mulder and Scully are just dancing, and it's just like, it's so feel good, and it shows the compassion that these two have with pretty much all their victims. That's partially why the show is so successful, because their compassion towards these victims, and they really do care about them. And I think this brings it home. Some critics have said this is a fake ending. It is a made-up ending because, it's against what the show usually does, very pessimistic. And in real life, it would be more pessimistic. I'm just like, you fucking idiots. This episode is not meant to be taken seriously. It is not. It's supposed to be a comedic episode. And yet they're taking it so seriously. Oh, it's like this fake ending. And it's more like, and it's just like, okay. These critics are pretty far up their own asses. They really are. It's supposed to be a fun, feel-good type of episode. That's how Chris Carter intended it to be. And yet, this is like the fake ending. There's some meta-narrative going on. I'm just like, who shoved a foot up your ass? Sam Levinson? Go jerk off him. Fuck that guy. Anyway, that's not the only time I'm going to kind of attack the critics a little bit. Next episode, Christmas Carol. Essentially, Scully and her mother visit Bill and his pregnant wife, Tara, in San Diego at Christmas time. Scully at first promises not to do any work while she is there, and yet she starts receiving phone calls, supposedly from the ghost of her sister, Melissa, who you may remember was killed by Alex Krycek and that goon at the beginning of season 3. Why is this going on? Scully finds out about the suicide of this one woman, decides to investigate, thinking that it might be connected to her phone call. This woman has a daughter named Emily who has special needs, who looks dangerously similar to what Melissa was when she was a young girl. She thinks that it might be Melissa's daughter. She becomes very attached to Emily over time, and it is later revealed that the suicide may have been staged by the woman's husband, so she looks into possibly adopting Emily. However, at the end of the episode, the DNA results come in, and it says that Melissa is not the mother. Scully is the mother, which means confirming a suspicion that I had in season 2, where as she was being abducted, they pretty much, the aliens kind of did some naughty things around Dana Scully, and yeah, she is a half human, half alien hybrid. Oh goody. So is this is the doctor, this doctor who's doing tests on poor Emily, is revealed eventually to be the one responsible for the deaths of the husband and the wife, not a suicide. And then 2 aliens, they're quoted as dark-suited men, kind of like the alien bounty hunter, He sees the doctor. They kill him. They transform into lookalikes of him. It is believed that Scully, I already mentioned that. Emily gets really, really, really sick, and she is practically rushed into the hospital, and they do tests on her, and it's clearly looking like she goes into a coma, and she dies a few days later. That's right. Scully met this little girl, and she finds out that she is her mother, and yet a few days later she dies. So even after the cancer went away, she has to deal with grief. They punish Scully, and she feels so bad. Oh man. Next, I can never pronounce the name of this episode. Kun Soon-Gary. It's the sequel to an episode in season 3 that Vince Gilligan wrote called Pusher, where the guy manipulates Mulder, the Russian roulette episode I mentioned, if you remember that. So Pusher is essentially out of prison. He manipulated somebody, he's out of prison, and Mulder gets manipulated by him again. So we think it is really his long-lost sister, Pusher's long-lost sister, who was manipulating him the entire time. She has the same ability that he did. And Pusher wanted her to stop doing this. He didn't want her to do this. But she did it out of possible revenge for having this ability in the first place, and he kills him in the hospital. Nothing much more to say. It's a good episode, but just nothing much more to say. Episode 9 of the season is called Sits No Jenny, and it's a notable episode for a lot of reasons. Quite a few reasons, actually. You see, this is the episode where, especially at the time, people said this was the worst X-Files episode to date. I don't agree with that. We'll get to that in a second. There's flaws in this episode, but I'll get to that in a second. It deals, essentially, what we're led to believe is killer trees. It was known as, the staff called it the Killer Trees episode.
What? No.
What?
It was written by 2 people who worked on the X-Files production team, but they had never wrote a script before for the show. And it kind of shows, and other writers rewrote the shit out of their episode, and it still didn't come out all that right, no. Really. And they never wrote for the show ever again. Oh boy, it's like freelancers. Another thing is that one of the guest stars, Chad Lindbergh, is one of the guest stars on this episode. Almost all his lines had to be ADR'd to death in post because his pronunciation was, quote, not pronounced enough. He was mumbling almost most of the time. In fact, Fox's Standards and Practices had a complaint with the writers because Mulder called his character Dickweed in the original cut, and Standards and Practices did not like the fact that he called him a dickweed. So they had to ADR it poorly to where he says dorkweed. Dorkweed. And what's funny, because the ADR is so bad, you can still see David Duchovny's lips, and he's saying dickweed and not dorkweed. God. The biggest thing, what I don't think it's the worst X-Files episode, is for a couple of reasons. Number one of the other guest stars on this episode is, I forget the name of the actress, but she was on Millennium, and she was the one who may or may not have killed Bletcher midway through that first season. The other major cast member, needless to say, I must remind you again, this show for the first 5 years was shot in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. There's your hint. Needless to say, if they couldn't get this person, I would have been pissed. And when they were in Canada, I would have been pissed. But the moment has finally arrived. It did happen. Folks, forgive me for being self-indulgent, but Catherine Isabel guest stars in this fucking episode. 2 years for Ginger Snaps, baby. And she is not the only Ginger Snaps cast member in this fucking season. We'll get to the other 2 in a moment. She saves this episode because the script's not great, but she saves it. And because of her involvement, I'm like, this is great. This is great. And like, I like this episode, even though it's technically not great. I take this over the fucking Amy the Gorilla episode in season 2. I keep bashing fucking Amy the Gorilla. But yeah, it's not a great episode. But again, she was there. That saves it. Episode 10, we're midway through the season now. It's called Chenga. Stephen King wrote this episode.
Ooh.
That is until Chris Carter rewrote the shit out of it. This deals with essentially a evil doll. They even mentioned, Mulder even mentions, like, she mentions, possibly an evil doll and spirits and like that. And Mulder, because he's not with her, because he goes on vacation. Scully goes on vacation to Maine. Gee, I wonder why it takes place in fucking Maine. It doesn't take place in Castle Rock, by the way. It just takes place in Maine. She asks about the whole rituals with witches and things like that. And she mentions evil dolls. And he's like, like Chucky. So yes, they're self-aware that it's kind of like child's play. They are self-aware about that at least. It's fine, but Chris Carter rewrote the shit out of it, and honestly, I could see why, because I know one thing about Stephen King, he cannot write endings to save his life. So maybe that's why he did. And by the way, Scully kills the evil doll by putting it in the microwave and incinerating it. Next up is an episode called Kill Switch. It is a Monster of the Week story. It's written by two people who were big cyberpunk aficionados, William Gibson and Tom Maddox. Essentially, this is about a rogue AI. Oh dear God. This is not even science fiction anymore.
Oh no.
It's practically happening. It's practically happening at this point. Yeah, there's not much more I can say about it. It's about evil AI. The 12th episode of the season is called Bad Blood, and it's the first time, aside from that horrible episode, that the standalone episode after Scully got abducted, where fucking David Duchovny was by himself with fucking Mrs. Ari from Entourage, if you even consider that a vampire. But this is the first time they're really dealing with vampires on this show. So it is a comedic episode because at the beginning of the episode, we see Mulder kill this kid who's one of the kids from The Sandlot. You know, the guy with the curly hair from The Sandlot? Yeah, him. He kills him, and he thinks he's a vampire, and then he brings out his teeth, and it may just be a human, and it leads to one of the funniest moments in the entire series where Mulder goes, "Oh, cut to the show's intro." And then the whole episode is like Jose Chung from Outer Space, where it deals with different perspectives, except we deal with Mulder's perspective about what happened in this scenario and Scully's perspective. Well, Scully's perspective goes first, and it's just fucking hysterical. You have Luke Wilson as the sheriff of this town, and in Scully's version of events, he's this pretty, it's Luke Wilson, and she's like in love with him right from before she first sees him, and she thinks she claims that he called her Dana, even though he did not know their name. So he's like, Mulder's like, Dana, he did not know your name, and then after investigating, like, she has to do several autopsies in the same night, and she gets really hangry. Like, she gets hungry and angry. She gets hangry for like pepperoni pizza, and she in her hotel room, those vibrating beds. She's just on the vibrating bed, just like going like this the entire time. And then Mulder plops himself on the bed when she's about to leave to do another autopsy, and he's just laughing hysterically because of the vibrating bed. He's like, he's acting like a child. And needless to say, and then, for example, in Mulder's perspective, Luke Wilson's character, he has buck teeth and an overbite. He's like, thirst, and he's just like, it's just a funny episode. I can't even explain it. Since in Scully's perspective in that episode, the kid from the Sandlot who is a vampire attacks Mulder, and he's all right. She goes to the hotel room to see he's still alive. But what happens is that he's awake, but all of a sudden she's like, Mulder, are you okay? And he starts singing the Shaft theme song.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, at the end of that, I did not. Oh my God. It is so just. There's so much to say, so little time. I'm moving on. Next, this is essentially the next mythology arc. Patient X and the Red and the Black. Essentially, this deals with, to keep a long story short, because I always have a hard time when it comes to talking about mythology episodes because they're so fucking dense. So what this kid at the beginning of this episode gets affected by the black oil. Marina Covarrubias finally shows up after like a half season not showing up. She runs into Alex Krycek in Russia, who has caught this kid, who is from Kazakhstan. Yeah, it's almost like they should have done Borat, but whatever. It's all going to hell, according to Krycek. And at this point, Mulder doesn't believe that much in aliens anymore because of what happened in the last season into this one. He sees a testimony about this person named Cassandra Spender, who's played by Veronica Cartwright from Alien. In some ways, yes. Other ways, no, Soren. Some ways, yes. Other ways, no. I just have a lot to say about this season. This season's like amazing, but let's keep it real short. Though I really do gotta. So, Spender has been abducted by aliens, I think 4 times. 4 times, and she keeps coming back to Earth. And she said, "I would do it again in a heartbeat." Essentially, she has a son named Jeffrey Spender, who's like this, up and coming guy at the FBI. If they learn about his mother, he might be in trouble and get, his damaged reputation he'll have damaged reputation as a result of finding out what's happening. So essentially, I'm cutting out a lot of Krycek stuff, even though I'm glossing over the fact that apparently Marina Covarrubias and Alex Krycek are fucking apparently. But she might, Covarrubias that is, she may or may not be actually working for the syndicate. She might actually be working, as a good person, just disguising herself. And she eventually gets nearly killed. I think she gets nearly killed by the military, I think, right? I'm trying to... No. Marina gets possessed with the black oil. That's what happens to her. Essentially, Krycek is working against the syndicate. Okay, I'm confused. That's why they're fucking, because she's working against the syndicate. He's working against the syndicate along with Covarrubias. So it's very complicated because I always think Krycek, what an asshole. But I'm almost done here. I have 5 episodes to go. Essentially, keep a long story short, Scully sees a UFO in the sky with Cassandra Splendor, and 2 faceless aliens arrive to start killing people. And what happens is that over that next episode, Mulder essentially starts believing aliens again after everything that happens in this next episode, because Scully recounts her experience, but through hypnosis by the guy who gave Mulder hypnosis early in the first season. So the people are, the government, the syndicate is like, they're going to turn Okay. This is complicated, okay? I'm trying to clearly writing enough notes down, it's just a headache. With a show like this so dense, sometimes it's a bit of a headache. Needless to say, it is revealed in this episode. Let's keep some plots thinned out. Cigarette Smoking Man is still alive. What makes it even worse is that Jeffrey Splendor is his son. Uh-oh, bad news for him. And essentially, if I could go back to this fucking thing, here we go. Needless to say, you know, it's like even looking at the description, it's a hard thing to progress. I'm just gonna move on, okay? I'm running out of time. People are already getting pissed off about. People are thinking it's gonna go 4 hours. I promise you, it won't go 4 hours. We could skip this episode. It's basically this next episode is basically about the origins of what you call it. Bill Mulder's Mulder. I'm not talking about Bill Scully. I'm talking about Bill Mulder. That's Mulder's father, two Bills, and his connection to the X-Files, and him, you know, the connection that he had with the aliens, with this guy named Arthur Dales. And you want to know who plays the young version of this character in the 50s? Because most of this episode takes place in the 50s. You want to know who plays the young version of this Arthur Dales guy? It's the marshal who arrests Kate in Lost.
Oh my god.
It's the marshal.
That asshole.
Next is an episode where I will talk about Mind's Eye. Essentially, it's about this woman played by Lily Taylor, who we mentioned a couple of times on this show. Say Anything, mainly. We don't talk about the haunting in this house. She is a blind woman, and she is capable of seeing the actions of her murderous father through her mind's eye. She is clairvoyant. I promise you, this is way better than Madam Web. Way better. And Lily Taylor's great in this episode. She's really, really great. Next is an unofficial third part to the whole Emily arc called All Souls. And essentially it deals with Scully mainly. Mulder's barely in this episode. It deals with her investigating this she's investigating a mystery involving, oh god, I can't pronounce this. Okay, I can't even pronounce this. Nephim, who are essentially children of mortal women and angels. Essentially, it deals with a lot of religious kind of stuff going on, spiritual kind of stuff. And there's these four women who are basically long lost. Not a twin, but like since it's four people, what you would call that? Four people who are twins. I forget the name of the terminology. Not a quadruplets because they're not. I mean, they are identical, but it's not. They use a different terminology. Anyway, these people are all played by the same actress. You want to know who it is? Speaking of ginger snaps, Emily Perkins, who played Bridget, is in this episode. So technically, Catherine Isabel and Emily Perkins were in the same season together. 2 years later, they were in Ginger Snaps. And there's another Ginger Snaps cast member in the season finale, which we'll get to. Needless to say, this case, cutting it short, essentially confronts Scully to, you know, come to grips with her grief over Emily, comes with closure, I suppose, over that arc. Next, we're almost done here. The Pine Buff variant. And this deals with Mulder essentially going undercover. It deals with this terrorist organization who has a biochemical weapon that causes rapid degeneration of human flesh. Mulder is a mole working in this group. And it's just about his adventures, I guess. They even, in this episode, I will say, they play a little bit of Die Hard with a Vengeance in this episode. Because one scene takes place in the movie theater. And they play Die Hard with a Vengeance. The subway scene, I can tell. It's the subway scene in Die Hard with a Vengeance, if you've ever seen that movie. The second to last episode is called Fully Ado. No, not Joker 2. This is way better. This is way better than Joker 2. Essentially, it deals with this man who thinks his boss is a monster and decides to take over a whole hostage situation in this office building, including Mulder himself, to try and prove it. He's eventually killed, but Mulder inherits his ability to see the monster. He is locked in a psychiatric hospital, only to be saved by Scully at the end of the day. Yeah, it's crazy. And then the season finale is called The End. Why is it called The End when it wasn't the end? I will tell you. This is supposed to be, for all intents and purposes, the series finale to the X-Files. Because what they envisioned was, if the first movie did well, they would pretty much turn the show, like they would end the show and pretty much just do movies. That's what they would do. Ultimately, Fox said, we're making too much money off this show. You gotta come back. You gotta come back. So they got renewed for a 6th season. And we'll talk about that next week. But this episode is the last to be shot in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. In fact, as a thank you to Vancouver, the beginning of the episode involving a chess tournament is held at this very famous arena in Vancouver. And the extras in that scene were all X-Files fans. This is a big stadium we're talking about. And I kind of interpreted it. I didn't even know it was supposed to be a thinking, but I interpreted it as a kind of a goodbye to Vancouver because of that. Even though, again, the movie was shot in Vancouver as well, but it was shot before this season. So technically it was the goodbye. It involves this, kid named Gideon Praise, who was the target of an assassination by one of the shooters, this assassin. And he, Gideon that is, may hold the secrets to all the mysteries they have been looking for in the X-Files, because he may or may not be a half human, half alien. And this is where Mulder and Scully sort of kind of team up with another person, which I forget her name right now, the character's name. What's her name? Diana Fowley, who's played by Mimi Rogers, the mother in Ginger Snaps. So trifecta in one season, only 11 episodes apart from each other. Well, in an 11 episode gap, just 3 cast members appear in 11 episodes, an 11 episode gap across these 11 episodes. It's crazy. Diana was a former fling of Mulder. They were dating for a while before Scully came into the picture. Scully gets kind of jealous of Diana a little bit in this episode. She was in Lost in Space that same year. Needless to say, I think this episode was probably better than Lost in Space, the movie. So needless to say, there's a lot of conspiracies. The Smoky Man is found by Alex Krycek, and Smoky Man goes back to America after sitting in Canada for like 15 weeks and goes back to being an asshole. He wants to find this kid. He ultimately does. And with all of this bullshit going around involving this kid and all this other bullshit I don't have the time to get into, the X-Files may be shut down by the Attorney General. By the end of this episode, the X-Files, for the second time in this series, is shut completely down. What makes it even worse is that Cigarette Smoking Man finds Samantha Mulder's X-File, and it's heavily implied that he was the one who burned down Mulder's office that we've known for 5 seasons. And then all the X-Files are gone and burned. And by the way, he does speak to Jeffrey Spender and tells him that he is his father. And that leads into, well, I will say this. I'll reiterate like this. You see the last shot of the whole, Scully comforting Mulder after this tough time. Again, the office is completely burned down. The X-Files are completely gone. And that means, my friends, they are in, since the X-Files are no more, essentially, they now are on their own. And they must fight the future in the first. It's not, they can't just fight the future on the small screen. They have to fight it on the big screen. Which leads into the X-Files movie, also known as X-Files Fight the Future, which came out 33 days after the season finale. Folks, this is a perfect season of television. I had to go through every episode because I can't find, other than the one that Catherine Isabel is kind of mediocre, but other than that, this is a perfect season of television. This is a perfect season of TV. I don't have virtually any complaints with this. It is well written. The acting is extraordinary this season. The special effects, some of them are dated, but they've come a long way since the beginning of the season, where it just looked very cheap, and now it looks actually pretty well done for the most part. It has. Why I like the season so much is because it made me feel every kind of emotion. I felt happy. I felt depressed. I felt angry. I felt scared. I was just on the edge of my seat at certain points. It is just, this is what television could do. And this season was nominated for Best Drama Series, and honestly, it should have won. It really should have. You want to know what won? The Practice. You ever heard of The Practice? The David E. Kelly show? The legal? Yeah.
No.
Nobody
To be
barely
fair, I
gives a
haven't.
shit about.
Then again, I haven't heard of the Millennium before you started reviewing it, so.
Well, that got canceled after 3 seasons. The Practice lasted for 7 or 8 seasons, and yet it's kind of been forgotten. I feel like this should have won Best Drama Series, it or ER that season. It should have. But this is a perfect season of television. Fuck it. 5-star rating. This is a 5-star review from me. Next week, folks, the movie. Needless to say, we're reviewing the X-Files movie, and it will be much shorter than this because it's only 2 hours long. And it's only one movie. But yeah, that's it. Now, I can't drag this out much longer, can I? Fuck me. Oliver Stone, what did you do to me? Alexander.
He did nothing.
Never will there be an Alexander like you. Alexander the Great.
A leader ruled by passion.
Conquer your fear and you'll conquer death.
A king who made all men his equal.
The first rule of war is to do what you ask your men to do.
A man betrayed by his own dreams.
Fortune favors the bold.
The gods have a way of punishing such pride.
Do you want to live forever?
Alexander, an Oliver Stone film. Rated R. Starts November 24th.
Oh boy. Oh god. You know what? I'm gonna say this right now. Apologies in advance, Jared. Apologies in advance. Alexander is a 2004 epic historical drama film that just so happens to be Jared's favorite movie, directed by Oliver Stone, with a screenplay by Oliver Stone, Christopher Kyle, and Leda Kalogridis, produced by Thomas Shulley, John Glick, Ian Smith, and Moritz Bowman, starring Colin Farrell. Actually, more like starring Colin Farrell's balls. I see his balls in this movie. I've always his butt cheeks, but you see his balls in this movie.
It's just a little shadow.
Angelina Jolie, Val Kilmer, Jared Leto, Rosario Dawson, and Anthony Hopkins, released on November 24th, 2004 by Warner Bros. Pictures and Intermedia Films. Budget was $155 million, and they made $167.3 million, making it basically a complete and utter fucking disaster of a bomb. Alexander, the king of Macedonia, leads his legions against the giant Persian Empire. After defeating the Persians, wow, wait to ruin that for everybody. He leads his army across the then known world, marching farther than any other Westerner had ever gone, all the way to India. 15% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
And to be fair, also that is the theatrical cuts Rotten Tomatoes score. There's no
40 on Metacritic. 5.6 on IMDb. 2.8 on Letterboxd, and a fucking D+ on Cinema Square. D+. I'm sorry. You know what? Out of just pure respect, I'm going to allow you to explain to people who don't know why is this your all-time favorite movie. I think it's your favorite movie. I'm going to let you talk.
I think it really does.
Over half an hour.
You need an explanation for this, because like this is not a beloved movie, but I will say too that like it has, not to the extent of like say something like the Kingdom of Heaven director's cut, like it has since been reevaluated time and time again to lean a little bit more positive through the years. But how I started out with Alexander, I remember when the movie like came out, and then I heard nothing about it, and we bought it after the fact sometime when the second cut of the movie was released, the director's cut, which is actually the shortest version of this movie. And then I think my dad and I, we watched it and everything, then didn't think anything of it. So come to high school, back during the days of high school where, you know, like you stay up till like 3 a.m, despite the fact you had to get up at like 6 a.m. and stuff, 6 or 7. I could not fall asleep one night. And I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this director's cut of Alexander at like 2 a.m. And I watched it, and I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe it just was me watching the movie at the right place at the right time, which is often the case with, I think, anything that we watch. Like, it completely depends upon where we watch something, when we watch something, how we watch something. And I was like, you know what? I don't think that this movie is as bad as people make it out to be. And then I left it at that. And then I slowly kind of was like, kept thinking about the movie. And I would rewatch it a lot. To the point where like sometimes I would watch it twice in one day. And also I'm a big history buff. I started out thinking that like I wanted to be a history teacher or a history professor. When I went to college and everything, I started out in history. But I love this time period, and so it's like I'm a little partial towards this point in history. So there's that involved. But I was talking to somebody I'm not friends with anymore, but I was talking about how I love the movie, and like, yeah, I was like, yeah, it's flawed and everything, but I just enjoy it so much and everything. And then he told me, he was like, I think you found your guilty pleasure. And that was very gratifying for me at the time, because it was like, yeah, like it was flawed, but I was obsessed with it. I just, something about the movie and its flaws made me keep going back to it over and over. And to the point where my 9th grade history teacher, for my when I graduated in 2014, he gave me his copy of Alexander Revisited, the final cut.
Oh boy! By the way, that's the cut that I watched for this episode, because that's the one that's on the 4K.
And I watched that movie, and it just changed everything, to the point where I was like, you know what? This is why it's like, I kind of hate the term guilty pleasure, because you shouldn't, if you like something, you shouldn't be guilty. I feel the same way. Guilty.
I feel the same way about that.
It was like, at this point, it was like, no, I love Alexander. I love watching this movie, and I can watch it over and over and over. And
I don't know how you can, because 3 hours and fucking 40 minutes.
I know, but I think also that leads to just my background. When I grew up on movies like Ben-Hur and King of Kings and Ten Commandments specifically. So I think I had just been around those extremely long movies at like a very, very young age. And so I just loved that stuff. And Alexander just gives me everything that I kind of love. That's still, you know, I can pinpoint a lot of its flaws and everything, but I like the epic battles. I like the historical setting, the costumes. I love just a big budget historical drama. It has like a humongous cast of well-known people and dialogue that feels very much like something from like a 50s movie, which are movies that I grew up with and everything. It was just my kind of movie. And I think that's going to be very different for some people, because Alexander is not going to be everybody's kind of movie.
Like me.
Yeah. Well, see, and it's like, I just...
Brandon, I'm going to pick the shit out of this movie. I'm just letting you go first.
The thing is, it's like, I recognize its flaws and stuff, and it's like, it's one of those things, like, when you love something so much and everything. I talked about this with my best friend the other day. You love something so much and everything that you tend to sometimes, like, you look at the flaws and you can even like overlook them at a point, or like you invent things in your head to make them not necessarily flaws.
Yeah, there's some 5-star movies of mine that I still recognize the flaws. Bram Stoker's Dracula, Keanu Reeves, anyone?
Mm-hmm. Like, I could pinpoint things with this movie, because I have watched all the different cuts of this movie, and I could say too that the movie, we talked about this with the musical biopics and everything. This is a very much a movie that just is like, here's all the big moments in his life and everything, with very little like nuance or anything. The theatrical cut in particular, which I've seen and is a disaster, because it's done in chronological order.
I think the final cut is a fucking disaster, but that's besides the point.
When you see it in chronological order and everything, you really see how episodic this story is, and I think the studio might have made me with this, but I think that seesawing between flashbacks actually helps with the pacing of the movie.
No, it doesn't. It does not
overall.
help the pacing whatsoever. I think the studio made the right call. I think they made the right call. Call me egotistical prick all you want. I hate this movie.
But the movie has like flaws, and I've talked about this with my best friend too. Like, Colin Farrell, his acting for this movie has been like, talked about to death and everything, and I'm like, I really don't think it's
all the
that bad.
performances
But
are
at
like
the same
theatrical.
time, it's like, my best friend said, acting is all through the eyes. And Colin Farrell's eyes
Colin Farrell
are
is
like
practically. Look, I
whole
said this in my
freaking time.
review. It's like before every scene, every take, he drank an entire can of Red Bull. I swear to God, I've never seen him. Seen him with his pupils that big before in my life. Like, holy shit! Are you on Red Bull or are you on cocaine?
I will say though, I think it does lean into the character a little bit of being this person that has a little bit of a god complex that is almost
I get that, but you could have just
ruled by his
lowered
emotions.
it down a little bit. Lowered it down a little bit. You're just Colin. I'm sorry. Colin Farrell's a fucking embarrassment in this movie. It's like
He's
the
a
worst
very
thing I've ever seen him do.
emotional guy in this movie, but I think it personally works. And
Oh my God,
for me,
it doesn't work at all. He is terrible. He is miscast beyond belief. And this is coming from someone who does like Colin Farrell. I do. I like Colin Farrell. I do. Like, even in Minority Report 2 years before this, he was great. He was great in that movie. I don't know what the fuck happened here. I think he was just wrong for this role. Just like he was sort of wrong for The New World as well.
You know that initially Heath Ledger was in talks for this role.
Maybe that could have worked. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And also back in the 90s, when this was conceived in the 90s, Val Kilmer was up for Alexander.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's just embarrassed.
Something you mentioned in your Letterboxd review and everything, but I will agree with you. I think Val Kilmer is the best thing in this movie.
He is. He's the best in the entire movie.
Phenomenal. I think he has the right amount of like over the top bombast. When
also
he's
being
just
like
basically
serious,
drunk
like
through his whole
and then
role.
There's this also a bit of this straightness, kind of playing it straight in certain scenes, and it works. I think it really does work. He's playing it just right. Everybody else is not. And that includes Anthony Hopkins, unfortunately.
I really like Val Kilmer's scenes during like just a lot of the like early stuff with young Alexander, with the taming of his horse, and that kind of stuff really just lets my imagination go wild and stuff. I also love a lot of like the castings and stuff that they did for some of like the minor roles. Like you have fucking Brian Blessed in the movie for just a cameo appearance and everything.
Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. We gonna talk about Jonathan Rhys-Meyers?
So my best friend, when I showed him this movie one time, he said that this movie is like a Macedonian boy band. Like all of Alexander's friends, they look like members of a band. So like you got fucking Jared Leto with his long ass,
God,
insane hair. You got Anthony Hopkins, the younger version of Anthony Hopkins, which looks like fucking Garfunkel.
Our Garfunkel.
Yep. And then like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and everything, because he played Elvis in a TV movie.
Yeah, that was a year after this though.
So
I wonder what that TV movie is. I would have to look into that.
The thing is, I have fun with this movie, even because it's like two of my best friends and everything, they don't really care for this movie that much, but like I have fun like watching it with them, because I can literally shit on my own favorite movie at times and everything, and make fun of it and stuff. I'm
very protective of my favorite movies. I don't shit on Jerry Maguire. Why would I do that?
I think it's different because Jerry Maguire is a beloved movie. So it's hard to shit on it.
And don't even get me started on my favorite movie, where Christian Bale sounds like he has throat cancer throughout that movie.
You know what Jared Leto does in this movie, though? I swear to God, he's fucking mumbling.
Okay, so
2/3 of the damn time.
Here's one of the things that, like, as much as I love this movie and everything, the one thing that I'm just like, this movie does a very poor job at, and it's one of those early examples of like, if this movie came out like now, they wouldn't be afraid to deal with Alexander's sexuality at all, because Alexander and because Colin Farrell and Jared Leto, they are supposed to be lovers.
Well, no shit.
But aside for like several conversations that they have that sort of lean towards romantic, they just, they're like buds, and that's about it and everything.
Well,
but
technically speaking, I saw the gay overtones throughout the entire fucking movie. I was like, this is before Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, no, it is. But I think it just does a poor job of like conveying their relationship.
Yeah, it does, because especially considering he has like a fucking fucking another lover that
that's just his boy toy.
Yeah. Who, I swear to God, looks like the guy from The Crying Game. I swear to God, he looks like the guy from The Crying Game.
My favorite stuff in this movie, though, genuinely is the flashbacks. When you and most of the flashbacks.
What is the flashbacks? The whole movie's a flashback, Jared.
I know. I'm talking about to like Alexander's life before he's king. Like I really like the scene at Philip's wedding night and everything.
Who the fuck is Philip?
When he calls his own son a bastard.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
And I'm like, I think that's a really good scene. I also I want to point out, because we haven't talked about it, I love Vangelis' score in this.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Vangelis never slumps it up. Chariots of Fire, Blade Runner, even 1492, which wasn't a very good movie, but the score was great in it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm in the vast minority. This score's not good. I don't think if it's the movie. I think there's something weird about it. I don't know. I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
Oh, man. I
just don't like it. I don't like the synthesizers. I don't like that.
Soundtrack religiously. In fact, when I have written my own Alexander script, I've written to the soundtrack of this movie.
I think somebody like Hans Zimmer would have done this better. Back when Hans Zimmer wasn't stealing shit.
I really like it, and it's also it's an actual Greek guy doing a Greek.
I understand, but it just doesn't work with me. I don't know. There's something about it. I don't know. I can't describe it. It just feels off. It just feels off to me. I don't know what it is. Off. But I will say positive things I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The movie looks good. The movie looks good. The production value is clearly there. Good production design, good costumes. Very good. They're very, very good. I admire the ambition of the action scenes. I hate the execution. I hate the execution because the execution, let's face it, Jared, they're just ripping off Gladiator. They're ripping off exactly how it's shot.
Well, then again, they're ripping off great battle sequences, so frankly, I don't care.
But you can't, unlike Gladiator, there's too much quick cutting and there's shaky camera. At least with Gladiator, which also use a lot of handheld cam, you actually see what's going on. I know Jared doesn't like Gladiator as much as everybody else does, but damn it, Gladiator's a better movie.
Let me see. I'm trying to think of some
like the battles. Like they. Yeah, go ahead. Go. You.
Oh, no,
I'm mumbling.
Okay, because I was gonna bring up because you've only watched the revisited cut of this.
Yeah, that's another thing. Joshua mentioned this too. How Oliver Stone edits movies usually is really good. It just doesn't work in Alexander. Like, I've never really seen JFK, but I heard the editing is like brilliant.
Editing in JFK is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
But it just doesn't work with a historical epic. It just doesn't work.
So it's interesting with this movie because it's almost like freaking Blade Runner, where you have like so many multiple versions of this one movie, and it's so interesting to me. So Oliver Stone did not get a lot of time to edit the movie to his liking when it came to the theatrical release. And when you watch that movie, it is mostly done in chronological order, aside for like some interlude stuff with Anthony Hopkins' character. And then there is one random flashback later on in the film, so it's weird. So it's all chronological until it decides to have a flashback to when Val Kilmer dies. So it's so weirdly structured. Then the director's cut is when
Hey, like this movie let Val Kilmer rest in peace, unlike a certain movie this year.
Yeah, I saw that. The fucking AI movie.
Thanks a lot, Andy Muschietti, fucking prick.
But the director's cut of the movie is shorter than the theatrical cut, and it starts doing more of like the flashbacks throughout the entire film. But what's interesting is when it comes to the final cut and the ultimate cut, they put the Battle of Gaugamela, which in both versions of which in the theatrical and the director's cut happen at like the beginning of the second act. It is now
they put it at the beginning of the fucking movie.
It is the first act of the movie.
I'm just like, what's going on here?
And somewhere within my favorite movie of all time is the perfect edit of this movie, and how, like, maybe I should delve and do my own edit of how I would do this movie and everything. Because I think, despite the fact that it puts you in an action scene very early, like in medias res, I think it might work better to have you build up to that. But also, it's weird. The ultimate cut and the revisited cut, which the revisited or the ultimate cut cuts out one scene from the revisited cut, which you watched, and I rewatched as well. It's the scene where Alexander is planning the battle at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, boring.
They remove that scene from the ultimate cut, which I actually prefer. But it's so weird because that's not the only thing that changes. Like, there will be like extra lines that you didn't hear in the final cut that are in the ultimate cut, or in the ultimate cut, not the final cut. There will be like alternate take or an alternate shot. So it's so weird that there's despite the fact that there's 4 cuts of these movies, there is no definitive cut of this.
Oliver Stone, you're a control freak. Pick up your mind.
So I lose my mind sometimes because I'm like, man, like even when we get to spoiler alerts, the end of the movie, there's changes in that as well. From the final line of the movie where Anthony Hopkins says, and the greatest of these is the one they call Megas Alexandros, which literally means the greatest Alexander of them all, or Alexander the Great. Some cuts will say Alexander or Megas Alexandros, the greatest of them all. But then other cuts will say Megas Alexandros, the greatest Alexander of them all. It's so weird to me.
God,
it
control
makes this
freak.
movie so interesting to me.
Anywho, let's talk about some of the other cast members I didn't mention before. Angelina Jolie, good God, what the fuck are you doing in this? First of all, I want to get this up front. She's a good actress. She always has been a good actress. But what the fuck is that accent? What is that?
I will.
And I found nothing to like about her character. Absolutely nothing.
It's meant for it to be kind of like exotic and foreign because
she was annoying.
She's not supposed to be like, she's not Greek or Macedonian. Like,
I get it, but practically a Sokovian accent. I swear to God.
That's a thing with the accents too, because a lot of people talk about the Scottish and Irish accents that they have. What Stone was particularly doing with this was just kind of like a little bit of like what's the term? I don't know the term, but the idea was like, instead of like having like a consistent accent all the way through for everybody, he wanted to have because like the Macedonians are supposed to be kind of like in the ancient world, like the Greeks saw the Macedonians as like, we'll call them hillbillies. So so
Hillbilly
they have
algae
like
too.
that they're
Can't wait
basically
to see
like
it.
Scottish and Irish, whereas like somebody like Aristotle that shows up in the movie is a sophisticated British actor with a British accent.
Yeah.
Everything. That's kind of what Stone was going for. And like I like that aspect of it. And honestly, like the accents don't bother me that much. But I will say, when Angelina Jolie is the more or less the only one kind of attempting an accent that is not her own, it does stand out.
I mean, Lara Croft and now this, you know, I don't know. She should just stick it with her own accent. She's very good. She's a very good actress, but oh my God. Another person I want to mention real quick. Rosario Dawson's completely fucking wasted, and her character, my God, can you get any more sexist than this? Stone, she is only there to go full frontal, pretty much.
Yep.
The sex scene is horrible. Like, are you kidding me? Try to defend this shit. I swear to God, try to defend this. Try me. Fucking try me with this scene. It's horrible.
Alexander in this scene, he more or less he more or less he
can't do it.
He allows things to happen in such a way to where it is sort of.
I don't think this is not.
I'll say it's like a power play, like the scene with, like the scene with Guy Pearson, like the scene with Guy Pearson. What's his face at the Brutalist?
Oh no, not that the rape, no.
but
no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well. It also it goes into the idea too that Alexander's using this as like maybe not necessarily that like he wants to, but it's good politically, he thinks, at least, to
try and have a kid.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. She does nothing. She does absolutely fucking nothing.
No.
No.
That is one of the things and everything where like the character, and that is a lot of the movie where it's like it has
so much
historical
misogyny.
Character. It has historically accurate characters and stuff, but it's like it doesn't have necessarily like a place for them.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing I want to mention real quick. The fact is that, you know what? Look, I understand the ambition of what he's trying to do, but at the same time, this movie, for the most part, is fucking boring. I couldn't wait for it to be over. I had to do this in sittings over a course of one day. I had to do this in sittings because by like the 2-hour mark, I couldn't take it anymore. You know what's the best part about this movie?
And I almost always view movies in civics because of my short attention span, admittedly.
But I will say, this movie, the best part of the movie, this has like the coolest intermission I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God, I'm glad. Yes.
Yeah, because it's not just a blank screen.
like okay. Honestly,
It's something nice to look at.
honestly, I love the like, because this doesn't really have, you know, like an overture and everything, but like the blue water effects and stuff with the intro, and then, you know, again, like all the cool sculpture looking things and stuff for the intermission, and then like the water stuff going on with like the end credits. Just phenomenal, like the way it looks and everything.
Yeah, I really like how it's like, you know, and the only problem is that the intermission's not 15 minutes long. It's only 90 seconds, and you're back into the movie. I'm like, hey, this is actually pleasant. 90 seconds later, oh, we're back to more bullshit. And you also forgot to mention, I got a little bit confused about what you're talking about the water effects. Yeah, it looks nice, but I thought you were confusing it with the intermedia logo at the beginning of this movie.
Oh no, yeah,
wave.
no. I'm talking about like the end. Like,
yeah, I get it. But I just got confused for a second there. But yeah, you know, it looks nice. It's visually, it looks nice. The script is bad. I hate the lines are just, it's not good. It's incompetently written. I think it's incompetent. Granted, Lena Kalogridis for a very long time wrote a lot of crap. She wrote Terminator Genesis, for Christ's sake. I mean, come on. But it's just, I don't know. I don't like how maybe it's also the execution of the lines by the actors, but I just don't believe anything that they're saying. I don't believe anything that they're saying. Maybe it's just because you're, you know, like you're saying, oh, these are lines that, you know, you would see in movies from the 50s and not modern day, you know, they don't speak like modern day.
It's very like
people, but
theatrical, like, and the performances are very theatrical. Like I would say, like a lot of the performances are over the top, which leads to like what a lot of those epics that he's inspired by do. Like Charlton Heston, great actor and everything. One of the most over the top actors I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, with Colin Farrell, he's a very good actor, but I just don't think he was right. Heath Ledger, it might have worked. It might have worked with him because I feel like he is the kind of actor who really does commit. And it would have been, if he'd done Brokeback Mountain still after Alexander, hey, it'll give you a little taste of Brokeback Mountain in there, what he had to do with Jake Gyllenhaal, needless to say. But, like, I feel like he could have done it. Colin Farrell, to me, oh, you know what also probably is a problem too? At this time in Colin Farrell's career, he was still being labeled as a pretty boy. I think that was also why too. I mean, I don't think of him as a pretty boy. I don't. But at this time, you know, movies like Phone Booth, The Recruit, those Daredevil even, you know, those kinds of, he was a pretty boy. And
yeah, a lot of, I mean, they're not like movies for chicks and everything, but like female gaze.
Yeah, the female gaze. It's funny because this movie deals with fucking so much male gaze shit, and they're like, oh, did we barely give you any female gaze? Like, oh, Oliver Stone, equal opportunity. Hello, I know you're straight. Is the JFK conspiracies controlling your mind still when you were editing this movie? Look, I understand why it might appeal to somebody because of the ambition, but it just does not work for me whatsoever. It goes on for so long. 3 hours and 36 minutes, because there's no overture. It's like 3 hours and 36 minutes of this. And I'm just like, my God, can you end already? I was just like, that MST3K clip. And! It's just like, it goes on. And like the ending, it feels like, okay, there's one part that I understand, like, for the most part, I kind of liked. It's the scene where they were battling in India with the elephants. Like, yeah, it's a little bit shaky, but at least I could see what was going on for most of that bit. I'm like, okay, I see what they were doing. I felt bad for the elephants.
One of my favorite moments.
But no, my least favorite part of that scene is this. When Alexander is stabbed. He is stabbed, and then for some fucking reason, the color timing changes and everything looks pink and red, and it looks like
that's one of my problems.
Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings type shit. It looks ugly.
That's one of my
It looks
nitpicks. I will
horrible.
give you that.
I will say, one of my favorite, maybe my favorite shot in the entire movie is in the scene with the elephants, and it is when the elephant and the horse like raise up, like are standing on two legs at each
Right
other.
before he
Apparently,
stabs.
that was not planned. The elephant got scared of the horse on the set. And that shot was created. I'm like, it's my favorite shot of the entire. Also, one thing I want to mention, it's the most insane shot in the entire movie because it's so freaking long for no reason at all. So in the beginning battle of this movie, you have King Darius, the king of the Persians, and that there's a shot like how I'm looking at you guys now and everything. He looks behind him and he's like giving directions and stuff, and then he turns back to the screen and then he stares at the screen for one.
Oh my god, I noticed that too.
2, 3, 4,
Come
5
on.
seconds
On with
long.
it.
And I'm like, why is this
Sorry.
shot so freaking long? And guess what? In every cut of the movie, it gets 1 second longer.
Oh no.
It may, because I
Like, you know that scene in SpongeBob where Patrick is just staring at that guy, focusing.
Oh,
can't.
okay. Let's see. Joshua said that the footage in the sequence got damaged. Where it's like red, where it's tinged red.
Oh,
apparently that footage had been damaged.
Oh god, it just doesn't look good. I get it, but I understand now because if I didn't know that, I'd probably say, "What the fuck is wrong with this?" But it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It looks ugly, visually ugly. They should just cut around it if you really wanted to get technical. Cut around it. But yeah, and then there's this whole thing of like very corny bit when Alexander's on his deathbed. He's like, his life is flashing through his eyes, and then the fucking eagle thing or whatever, he sees it like he's barely in his hand is like this, and he's like trying to reach out for it. It's like, it's so corny. I mean, it just, the ring just falls off, and it's just like, oh, it's like so corny to me. It is so corny. And then the whole thing about, and like, Anthony Hopkins is a great actor, but I feel like he's not even really doing anything. He's just, the narration is constant in this movie. Like, shut up. Show, don't
If you think
tell.
he was
This
doing
movie
nothing in this
tells.
movie, watch Transformers The Last Night. He's arguably worse than that.
This
I
movie
will
decides
say
to
that
tell,
I
not
think-
show. That's what I say. That's what I mean.
I will say that I'm like, I think this movie could have I feel like you would have been able to understand this movie just fine with like without all the narration, or at least limited narration. I still think it's like you can handle it just well enough and everything. But like, yeah, because he is extremely talky in the movie.
Yeah, and then by the end, he's just like, he's trying to pretend to like, he sniffed, like, he's like, I'm just like, no, I can't. And then again, at that point, I want the movie to just fucking end already, so I just didn't care anymore. But yeah, visually looks good. Some of the CGI, but that goes with everything in 2004, really. Except for Spider-Man 2, which was like the best fucking CGI that year. But
honestly, the eagle's the worst looking thing in the movie.
yeah, he's the worst looking thing in the entire
well, especially
movie.
the eagle when it like grabs the snake and the eagle at the end of the movie and everything. Yeah, That's pretty bad.
It's just, I don't know. This is a mess of a movie. 1.5 out of 5. I don't think I got anything else to say. This is just, I understand. That's the one thing I want to say. I understand, but this is not good. It deserved the beating that it got back when it came out. Needless to say, I think it deserved the beating.
Well, I think it deserves the beating for like the theatrical cut.
This movie practically killed Oliver Stone's career because I don't even think got a wide release.
I love this movie. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's my favorite movie of all time. It will forever be my favorite movie of all time. I'll sing its praises.
Folks, recommendation: watch Platoon instead.
Tear it apart as well.
I will say though, this makes me want to watch other Oliver Stone movies. I've already seen Platoon. That's the only other one was Platoon, which is a great movie.
Let's see,
JFK,
and then I think we have JFK on the wheel too. Because
I don't think we do.
Really,
to be honest, I don't think we do.
JFK. Wow.
Because JFK, the reason why I hadn't seen it at all was because the whole fucking thing is Oliver Stone venting about his conspiracy theories. That's why I'm like, oh God, is this going to be him yelling about the conspiracies the entire movie for 3+ hours?
It is, and you know what? You just don't care. It's so investing.
And he still believes the conspiracy theories to this day. I was like, oh God, you're a nut, Oliver Stone. But
as I have said before with that movie, I love that movie to death. It is a perfect movie in my eyes. I don't believe a freaking thing in it.
So needless to say, let's just spin the wheel now because, God, our conversation was probably longer than my X-Files review. God. But at least I knew it was going to be interesting talk, though. I did say that. So I knew it was going to be interesting talk. So, okay. Oh, God. Please let it be good because I didn't want it to land on my fucking choice already where I could pick anything. But anyway, 3, 2, 1, go.
Big money.
No, it's not going to land on my choice, is it? Oh, God. No. We're going to end on another fucking Disney movie. Oh, great.
Hey, this one's a classic.
And it's the
I don't
oldest
want
movie.
to review a kids movie.
And it's going to be the oldest movie we're going to review.
That really is. Yeah, it is.
Oh my God. Well, the good news is it's over and done with. The good news is that one, it's a classic. Number two, it's short. I don't need because the reason why I said I wanted to land on my
one.
Oh no, not the Pauly Shore. We're talking about the fucking Roberto Benigni one. We're talking about that.
Honestly,
underrated.
I would love it if we reviewed that one day.
So we are going to do Pinocchio. Because the reason why I wanted to say I wanted to land on my choice so I can manipulate the wheel a bit. If it were to land on it, I would have manipulated you two to sit with I would say my assignment is your assignment, and I'd make you two watch the X-Files movie with me without watching the goddamn show. You would have to go back and
do I need to watch the show to understand the movie?
Yes, you do. Didn't you just say in my review?
That's
why they burned down the fucking Mulder's fucking office. It leads directly into the fucking movie.
Well, that'd be awkward.
And then the Gideon kid appears in the movie as well. So just like and the black oil pretty much has its culmination in that movie, apparently. I would have manipulated, and like, either if you didn't have time to watch the show, I'd be like, pay attention to everything that I said, or go on Wikipedia and read absolutely everything. But no, I can't do that. Too bad. I'll manipulate it one of these days, even if I have to do it after I review the entire show. I'll make sure of it. Anyway, next week will be Pinocchio, which I don't think I've seen all the way through. I've only seen parts of the Pleasure Island scene. Who am I, a jackass?
This was one that I watched a lot as a kid. So.
No, that's I don't have a joke with that.
But yeah, it's just yeah. But another thing that Tanner did say. Oh, great! First of all, he's roasting me. Number two, he also said that quickly before we get out of here. He said that hot take: Alexander has the Batman vs Superman issue. I thought the extended cut that was sent to fix everything did very little to fix everything. Hey, your consolation gift is this, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander is a better movie than Anyone But You. It is. It is. I gave it a negative rating, but I didn't give it a fucking 0. I gave it a 1.5. I admire the ambition of the project. And plus, even though Colin Farrell is overacting, he's still a better actor than Sydney Sweeney.
Hey, I'll sit for that. I'll sit for that other than every other romantic comedy ever made. And here's what I think of.
Yeah, fucking yeah. You see, tried and then it stars somebody who just literally cosplayed an OnlyFans on fucking diapers on Euphoria. Ugh, fuck that show. Fuck that show. I know I'm going on and on about this. I'm beginning and ending by ranting on this. Thank God she was cut for Devil Wears Prada 2. At least the fucking director knew to do something about that bullshit. But still, baby, Tommy Pickles straight. Imagine, oh God, no, I don't want to think about what's going to happen next week because it's probably going to get worse and worse. There was even a scene apparently in that episode where somebody was fucking and there was in the background a swastika. A fucking swastika while somebody's fucking Sam Levinson. Are you trying to be Lars von Trier at this point? I can't. Good.
Again, just because...
At least this is the better HBO Max show right now. You fucking kidding me? Oh man. But yeah, Pinocchio will be interesting to do because it is very important in Disney's legacy. It was the second movie they ever did, and I feel like a lot of people say that it corrects the flaws that Snow White made, you know, because it was the first of its kind, and it practically Walt Disney, I think, you know.
It works better as a just narrative overall, because I think Snow White is just a lot of scenes, and Pinocchio
episodic. Yeah,
I
see. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to watching it because it was edgy for its time. Pleasure Island. I mean, my goodness gracious, the stuff that they got away with that. And like, if we ever review Dumbo gets drunk. Did they even brought that over to the fucking remake? I don't know if they did. I don't like the remake for the record, but I don't remember.
Don't get me started on the original blackface ad of Fantasia.
Oh yeah,
the one that's long lost. Disney does not want you to see that. But yeah, and the loser of the game has to review the Robertson. Oh no game.
I guess I guess I'll lose then, because I actually like the remake.
I guess so. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.